It's not my job.
Hello.
Well, here we go, aren't we? Yeah. Sorry, do I never do that?
Mark, we're in the Shopping Festival. We've been here before. I'd also like to experience and how do you think it all goes today?
Yeah, been many times before. The fact I was from Denver as a fun little boy. Probably didn't watch much cricket then, just play cricket at the back of the stand. Hopefully it also to win.
Sir! Right, boys! Excellent, enjoy the day. See you.
Do you need that mine? Hello, Dan, can you hear me? I'm dialed in. Dan.
So have you rung him to say you've done?
Just rang him, yeah.
This is all taped up too, isn't it?
I know, it's a shambles. I've had that kit for about 10 years and bits and pieces are added all the time.
It's got to be 2 years.
Hello there, how are you? Can you hear me? Okie doke. Nick? Dan's having trouble connecting the stream. Hello Dan, can you hear me? Is it anywhere nearer? Alright, we could try another number if you like. I could try the Alright. 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 Have you had trouble? Is it the Salford numbers you're struggling to find? Right. I can't help you there, I'm afraid.
When you say the street, do you mean the web?
You can't connect to Salford. He's trying to connect. He can't connect to Salford.
What would that be? That would be it wouldn't be online. It would be on TV.
He's trying all the numbers, but no one is answering.
That's typical.
Well, whatever's easier for you. Okay, but the stream's going out on the internet, is it? Yeah. Okay, yeah, of course, right, okay, yeah. Okie dokie. You ready? We have a tune now. After this tune, is it Dan? Yeah? Okie dokie.
Got a couple of birthday messages to read out. A couple of people have been in touch at Gloss Cricket using the hashtag #GoGloss. Firstly from Charlie Hughes, can you give a happy birthday to Daniel Smithy Smith and his dad? Come on you yellows, says Charlie.
Okay.
And Paul Norris has
Alright, no problem.
his birthday with us here at Cheltenham. All the fours, 44 seems very appropriate, says Paul. I hope you have a fantastic day. If you want a message read out today, use the hashtag #GoGloss and it's at Gloss Cricket.
Okie doke.
40 seconds, then a sting.
Can't hit the sting. Okay, yeah. Right. Well, do you know what, Ian Randall? I don't think there's any finer sight in cricket than the Cheltenham College ground absolutely full to the brim. It's a beautiful day here.
Swelteringly hot.
And it is, it's scorchingly hot, and the news from the toss is that Gloucestershire lost the toss, and David Milan, the Middlesex captain, opted to bat. Bit of interesting team news for Middlesex. A.B. de Villiers, poor chap, hurt his hand, can't play.
And look at the experience that takes out of the Middlesex team.
Yeah.
It's a side that I think would lean heavily on de Villiers and likes of David Milan in particular, and Toby Rowland-Jones from the bowling. But without de Villiers, they're bringing in a young lad, 24 years old, hasn't played a T20 game before, called Dan Lincoln, out of their second 11. Gloucestershire have their own injury problems without Matt Taylor, and indeed that's an interesting selection too, because we thought Chris Little might play. They haven't gone like for
No, they haven't. No, Michael Klinger says no, it's going to take turns, so Graham Van Buren is in the side. He'll be bowling alongside Tom Smith. Benny Howe will be very paramount in the bowling for Gloucestershire. It's going to be David Payne will probably open up, but Michael Klinger's got a lot of options, hasn't he, for the bowling?
It was interesting that in the warm-up downstairs, Klinger and Richard Dawson were having a chat, and Klinger was with his hand implying that the ball, that the pitch might take spin, and I said to you that I wonder whether that might mean Van Buren might play, and when you spoke to him at the toss, that was exactly what he said.
He did say that, yes. I've been out there and the pitch is rock hard, I can tell you. It's a real belter. If you bowl short, you're going to get carted all over the place, so you've got to be careful. Now, I think Ryan Higgins is very instrumental for Gloucestershire today, because he's not exactly a quick bowler. He's a right fast medium, and I just think he's going to get on the target all the time. I mean, Middlesex won the toss. They elected the bat. Michael Klinger said he doesn't really mind, really. He said he's probably going to have a bowl. He doesn't care too much what happens in the toss. I mean, it's a 50-50 thing, isn't it? You can't worry too much about us. Here come the Middlesex team. They got guard of honour down there. The umpires are out there. Higgins and Klinger are waiting to come through as well. And you've got some team news here, Randall.
Well, I'll give you the two sides in force. So the Middlesex side in full. Stephen Eskenazi, David Milan, their captain. Nick Gubbins, no de Villiers as we know, so Dan Lincoln comes in for him to make his debut. John Simpson, who will keep wicket, George Scott, Toby Rowland-Jones, Tom Helm, Nathan Sauter, Stephen Finn, and Mujib ur Rahman, the young Afghan teenage spinner, who is going to be a big player for Middlesex. I'm sure. The Gloucestershire side, Michael Klinger, Miles Hammond, Ian Cobain, his 100th T20 match today. James Bracey will keep wicket. Benny Howell, Jack Taylor, Ryan Higgins, Tom Smith, David Payne, Andrew Tye, and Graham Van Buren, who I'm sure won't bat it 11.
No, he said 8 or 9. He says
he's flexible. The further Gloucestershire have to go down through it.
Yeah, Ian Harvey just knocked me off my chair. A big apology from the Australian. It is Milan and Gubbins coming out.
Eskenazi with the Milan.
Eskenazi, yeah. Now, it's a bit of a worry about the old weather forecast. There is rumours of thunderstorms coming about 4 o'clock. Let's hope it doesn't happen. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
It is very muggy, though.
Very muggy indeed.
Also today, apart from being on BBC Radio Bristol DAB, we're also online through BBC London as well. So if you're with us from Middlesex, very good afternoon from, you won't be surprised to hear, a sweltering Cheltenham.
It is sweltering, absolutely is. Last Friday we had the T20 match was curtailed by rain. I think they're going to get through it today, actually. The clouds are very high. It is just incredibly hot. And I think perhaps one of the reasons that Middlesex opted the bat first is to put Gloucester in the field, because it's going to be sweltering out there, isn't it?
It is. David Payne will open the bowling. Do you want to take the College Lawn end, Bob?
I will take the College Lawn end, indeed. Do you want to sit down, Ian?
I'm quite all right standing.
Okay, fine. Okay. Right, it's going to be David Payne opening. Now, he was instrumental in defeating Worcestershire in that fantastic 4-day county game which finished yesterday. 2 county championship games here at Cheltenham. All went to the wire. The very last over. Well, they all got to the last over, of course, but you know what I mean. Win by 13 runs yesterday for Gloucestershire, and they beat Leicester. That puts them up in second place, in fact, in the third in the Division 2 Championship. Here is David Payne as he comes into bowl. First ball of the T20, he bowls, and he gets the field to single, and there's no one down there. And I got to say, that is very fortuitous, because you can't have a fielder anywhere, and there's only 2 allowed outside the circle, and there's no long leg. I'm not sure if that was a legitimate shot or not. I think it's a bit of a fluke.
Van Buren is literally on the edge of the circle, basically at short, fine leg. And he doesn't have the frame of a Stephen Finn,
no.
Van Buren, does he? Had he done so, he might have reached it, but he didn't, and it raced away down towards the boundary in front of the scoreboard.
Well, a rather fluky start, let's say that, as 4 without loss, as Payne comes in again and bowls, and that's much better, and it's fielded by old Mr. Ty, who's a very tall man.
Eskenazi wouldn't normally open in T20, normally
No.
probably a little bit down the order, but because of the fact that they have no Sterling at the moment, who would normally come in and give it a bit of a biff at the start, they pushed Eskenazi up the order.
Well, he's opening at the moment. The big screen apparently is overheating. That can't be used. It's got so hot. Payne bowls again, and that's driven to the boundary for 4. That's a good shot, I've got to say that. I mean, you've got 2 outside the circle, and you can't have someone everywhere, so that's 4 more to the total, 8 without loss.
Well, Middlesex got, was it 209 the other
Yes, all right.
against, sorry,
Wow,
Milan got a century in 57 deliveries, I think it was.
Yeah.
So he's clearly in form.
He is, yeah.
And
where's the scorecard? I haven't got a scorecard, actually. Oh, there it is. Thank you very much indeed.
we have an electronic scorecard.
Oh, we do. Good, okay.
And the assistance of Julian Clark.
As Payne bowls again, and that's turned around. Oh, that's another 4. That was a legitimate shot, I have to say that. He just turned his bat on the ball that was going down leg side, and it beat Van Buren. An expensive first over.
Dare I say, that might have been overcompensation for the one that was outside the off stump. He bowled it a bit straighter, and
It was. He
just got in line and glanced it very, very fine.
Now,
nothing that either James Bracey or Van Buren could do.
Now, Miles Hammond has come out of slip, and he's wearing a strange sort of sun hat, which doesn't really fit in with everyone else. As Payne bowls again, and they go for a short, sharp single, which they'll make easily, and that is the 5th ball of the over, 13 without loss. Now then, I got to say that's an expensive first over to bowl, but it does look like there's runs in this pitch.
Well, the championship wickets have been excellent.
Yeah,
4-day
fantastic.
wickets
Yeah,
in Cheltenham this season. There's no question there was something in the pitch last week after all that rain against Morgan, but this is a fresh strip. It's probably the most central strip at the college ground.
It is.
It's a small ground. The barriers, particularly square of the wicket, are relatively short. And now left-handed Milan to take his first.
Yeah, Milan taking his first ball. Eskenazi on 13, waiting at the other end. As he bowls to Milan, and Milan defends, and Payne fields off his own bowling. So, an expensive first over, you can't deny that. But it was a good shot to the covers and a good follow through down. A bit of a fluke.
And this isn't a surprise. Van Buren to open from the chapel end. This was something that Michael Klinger used last season, didn't he? And as you indicated already, that Mujib-ur-Rahman may well open the bowling for Middlesex, their young Afghanistan spinner. Van Buren to bowl his little flat, slow left arm darts, as they call them.
Well, I think it's a good move because with keeper standing up, you've got to use your feet or be entrenched in the crease. However, Van Buren cannot drop it shorties. And where are the 2 outside? They've got a long on. And where's the other one? Is that mid-wicket in front of us? Yes, we've got Higgins at mid-wicket. That's the 2 outside the circle. So
Van Buren to bowl from the chapel end with those 2 huge gazebos, a red one and a white right one, offering some shade to the spectators at that end. About 3 paces round the wicket. That is quite short actually, and punched up for a very easy single to Ian Cobain, who's at long off.
He likes long off, doesn't he, Ian Cobain? Specialist position.
Now for the left-handed Milan, and they've pushed a man out to deep mid-wicket. So a mid-wicket and a long on for Van Buren. Just having a chat again with Klinger, who has been worth so much to Gloucestershire in his time, both as a batsman and also as a captain tactically.
Yeah.
And he's now basically giving Milan a single anywhere on the leg side he wants one. Van Buren in, and Milan goes high. He doesn't need a single for that, because that's going to go into the marquee at deep square leg for 6.
Yeah, I was always worried about that, but with Van Buren bowling from this end, it's a shorter boundary down there, and it was an easy shot to play. And apparently someone in the crowd caught it. Well done.
It went up a very, very
Did,
long way,
yeah.
but it still cleared the rope by a good, well, I would say a good 3 or 4 metres.
Yes, it did. So they got a few
Second
problems
over,
early on.
Middlesex winning the toss and deciding to bat Van Buren again to Milan, who again goes high. Now that's gone up in the air. That should be a caught and bowl for Van Buren. He's underneath it and he takes it. Milan goes, having struck one big blow. He got that one on the outside half of the bat. It went straight up in the air. Van Buren had to wait a long time for it to come down.
I bet his eye was
He's taken
fluttering.
it safely, and it's 20 for 1.
Well, that's what they practice, isn't it? All day and every day before these big games. And Milan has gone cheaply, and that is a big blow for Gloucester, for Middlesex. You've got to say that. Now, in comes this rookie. The
Dan
rookie.
Lincoln
Dan Lincoln. Plays for Berkshire.
added to the registration for Middlesex on
This morning?
Wednesday.
Right, okay.
Has played for Berkshire, but got 100 in the seconds at a good rate of knots for Middlesex, and therefore they've added him to the squad. And here he comes into his first T20 game today, and they play at Cardiff tomorrow. So
They do,
he
yeah.
could well have 2 matches in successive days, and he's at the non-strikers end at the moment because the batsman crossed while that ball was halfway to the moon. And here is now Eskenazi to face the left arm spin of Van Buren, who just again pushes that up a little bit further. It's not quite half volley length, it's driven but back down the pitch and fielded by Van Buren off his own bowling. 20 for 1 it remains, and it doesn't take long to get through his overs. Again, that's tossed up outside the off stump, and a comfortable single for Eskenazi. So
Right, here's the
very
new
much
boy.
dominating the board at the moment. Now then, Dan Lincoln. I'm sure there's 2 ways to look at this. Gloucestershire will not see much of him.
No.
But he will not have seen anything of the Gloucestershire attack. So
No, they won't.
Van Buren just trots past umpire Graham Lloyd, comes in, and Lincoln just tries to dab that down towards the short third man. Doesn't get it cleanly off the bat, and Van Buren has been hit for 6 in that over, but importantly he's taken a wicket, and at the end of it Gloucestershire have Middlesex 21 for 1.
Yeah, 21 for 1. It's been an expensive first couple of overs run-wise, but they have got rid of the main, well, you would say one of the main Middlesex men, David Milan. Likes to get the big 100. I'm surprised he took that shot because he got cramped up a little bit, didn't he? He tried to play in exactly the same way as the 6, but he got cramped up and he just went straight up in the air.
And he had hit the previous ball with 6 anyway.
Yes, he had. Okay, well, here's Payne with his second over. Let's hope it's a bit tighter than the first one. He comes to bowl to Eskenazi, and Eskenazi gets runs down towards third man. There is a third man fielder, Tom Smith. They keep it down to 1, brings the rookie to face.
I'm sure Smith will be happier today bowling with a white ball than
Yes,
he
he likes
with a red
it.
ball in the Championship.
Yeah. Oh yes, he likes the old white ball game. Now, this old chap, he's 24. He's playing in front of a massive home-based crowd. I think he might have a few nerves. Might be a bit nervous.
We don't know how cool or calm he is, do we? But he wouldn't play in front of 5,000 playing for Berkshire.
No, no, I don't think so. No, not even their wildest dreams. As here comes Payne bowling to him, and it defends. And that's a good dot ball. Now Payne can do more than that.
When all said and done, though, if you're a professional cricketer,
Yes.
you want to play on grounds
You do
like
want
this,
to
on
play.
days like
You
this,
do.
don't
You do. Of course you do. However, I bet there are a few nerves. And I bet, unfortunately, the players are too far away to give him some chirp. But I'm sure if they were close by, they would, because it's a very spread out field. It's a typical T20 field. They got 2 men behind, a man behind square, and a third man. They're the 2 outside the circle. As Payne comes into bowl now, and that's fortuitous again. That's gone down to third man, and there's no chance of stopping that. I mean, I think he probably thinks his luck's in, because that just hit, and it just hit his bat, and it looped into a position where there was no fielder. You wouldn't have a fielder there anyway, would you?
There's a surprising amount of bounce,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Because that flew halfway to the third man boundary. I agree, in a loopy trajectory, but Payne, even with a run where it seems to be bowling within himself, still
Yes, he
generated
is.
quite a lot of bounce there.
Well, let's see what he does with this one as he bowls. And that's turned away, and there's going to be a single. He looks quite competent, in fact. They're thinking about coming back for 2, but they decide against it. That was a wise decision. Throw comes in on the bounce. James Bracey, who's keeping today for Gloucestershire. It's a good keeper, is James Bracey. Gareth Rawlings not in the side today. His fingers are taped up, and he's got a bad knee.
I think 4 catches for Bracey in the second innings.
They're all good standing up, yeah. He was good, I have to say. Eskenazi faces. He is ready now. Payne bowls to him, and that's not going to be a single. Hammond Fields, who's taken his ridiculous wide brim sun hat off, thank goodness for that, and there's no run.
27 for 1 in the third.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. That's all right. I mean, it's going to be
the toss.
It is going to be a lot of runs here, you can say that, certainly. 26 for 1, I think. It is 27 for 1. 27 for 1. Julian Clark, always right, of course. The scoreboard isn't working here at Cheltenham, as Payne bowls again, and Eskenazi again clips it, this time to Hammond, who fields tandemically with Cobain, who's weighing 28. End of a good over. That's a much better over than David Payne. 28 for 1.
So Michael Kinninger, as he sometimes does, sometimes would use the power play to get all his bowlers into the game, but Payne's had 2 overs, and Van Buren also is now going to have a second over from the Chapel End. 16 to Eskenazi and 5 to Dan Lincoln, albeit there was a streaky boundary in that. Live on BBC Radio Bristol DAB this afternoon, also online via the BBC Sport website. Very bright pink.
Well, they're always
dark
pink,
blue kit. Middlesex, Gloucestershire in the yellow and black, and Van Buren from the Chapel End comes in and bowls, and that's down the leg side and signalled wide. Basically anything down the leg side is going to be signalled as such. Neat take by Bracey, but umpire Lloyd hot in the direction of that first delivery of the 4th over. That's tossed up this time and almost in the range of Andrew Tye. It went straight-ish towards mid-off, but Tye couldn't reach it, and Lincoln picks up a boundary as the ball races away.
He looks confident.
By the Chapel.
He looks confident. He uses his feet nicely then.
So Middlesex up to 31 for 1, and Van Buren drops that one short. Lincoln just works that to short fine leg where David Payne fields, just a single. So there's a man out for Lincoln at deep mid wicket, and there's a man out at long off. They are respectively Higgins and Cobain, and Van Buren drops it a little bit shorter. It's punched away into the offside by Eskenazi. He'll take 1 and brings Lincoln back onto strike. We're in the 4th over. Middlesex having won the toss and deciding to bat. Lincoln gets tucked up by Van Buren. They didn't quite read the bounce of that delivery, and the ball just drops out of his pads onto the leg side, and there's no run. Against Palino. Short square, they're going to put him Hammond out on the boundary now. Deep wicket. 2 outside the circles, they must do. Van Buren in once more, and Lincoln again forced to defend, and Van Buren's got through 2 overs at the Chapel End, and 2 reasonably tight overs as well. Middlesex are 34 for 1, 17 to Eskenazi and 10 to Lincoln, and the one man out so far, David Milan, who was caught bowled by Graham Van Buren.
Yeah, sorry, we've just lost commentary for a couple of minutes then, but we're back now. And I missed that. How many runs off that over? I was doing technical stuff.
7.
7, okay. And the score is 34 for 1 off 4 overs. Ryan Higgins is replacing David Payne. I think that's a shrewd move. Ryan Higgins can certainly rein them in, can't he, Ryan Higgins? Ex-Middlesex player, of course. I spoke to him yesterday. I said, looking forward to the match tomorrow? He said, yes. He said, you bet I am. You bet I am, he said.
David Payne's 2 overs cost 19.
Yeah.
And Higgins, of course, made runs here in this fixture in
2 years ago. Yes, he did. He did. And that's they go for a short, sharp single. It's a very well judged single, in fact, because Cobain only had to run about 3 or 4 yards in from the edge of the circle. A little breeze now welcoming It is very, very hot here. It's extraordinarily hot. Andrew Tye is warming up in the covers, expecting to have a bowl perhaps sooner rather than later, as Higgins comes in again to bowl, and bowls now, and that's bat and pad very close together. I think it hit bat first actually, but it was worth a shout. Surely worth a shout.
Sometimes you can hear two sounds.
Yeah,
we're side on. We're not behind the bowler's eye here at Chippenham.
No, we're not.
Almost in line with the pop increase for the batsman at the chapel end, and that's the end where Higgins is bowling to at the moment.
Certainly is. He bowls now. That was I think Higgins, that you could call that sort of a chance. It was really laced at him, and he got a hand to it. But was it a chance? Probably not. Probably not.
That if they stick, they
stick. Yeah. But he did take the pace of it, certainly. As Higgins comes in again. They've moved the field on the leg side, just in front of square now. As Higgins bowls again, and that's driven. And Michael Klinger will field as expertly as he always does, with that tumbling sensation which all fielders use nowadays. And that's a one. And Michael Klinger now,
he's marshalling things.
Yeah.
Pretty conscious that if they can keep Lincoln on strike as much as possible, it will dilute obviously what Eskenazi can do to increase the rate.
He's doing well, Eskenazi, at the moment, as Higgins bowls to him, and he tries a reverse, and that came off Brace's pads. Now that was interesting. It's not a wide, it's done as buys. He was going to try and reverse it, and it came off Brace's pads, therefore not a wide, but they go for a buy.
He stepped right across, didn't he? It was almost, he was trying to play a very flat scoop shot.
It didn't work.
Eskenazi just asking how many balls left in the over.
I think there's two.
Two, I think.
One. Ooh, it's just the one. Higgins bowls to him and clouts it, and Klinger will keep it down for a single. That'll do. That's another good over. They have 5 overs gone, and the score is now 38 for 1.
Interesting that we went back to the Gloucestershire selection of playing the two spinners.
Yeah.
Given that Benny Howell is in the side as well, Higgins, I'm sure he would bowl probably quicker in a red ball game, a championship game, but taking pace off the ball seems to be the message right through the Gloucestershire attack. And Andrew Tye into the attack now. He has variations as well as Benny Howell.
He has. The only problem with Andrew Tye is he bowls so quick. They're still in the power play. If you hit it, it's going to go miles.
So
however,
this is the last over.
This is the last over, indeed it is.
Tye from the chapel end. His run starts.
Well, Michael Klinger's options, of course, isn't he?
Edge of the 30-yard circle. Right arm over the wicket. Comes in and bowls to Dan Lincoln, who respectfully pushes that out on the offside, thinks about a single, and Tye is quickly onto the shot and fields off his own bowling, and there is no run. So just to confirm, 38 for 1 Middlesex in the 6th, 18 to Eskenazi and 12 to Dan Lincoln.
That's a good comeback. Good comeback in the power play after 2 very expensive overs.
And Bury's 2 overs cost 15, but he did have a wicket in that, and Higgins only 3 singles off his first over, so a good start for him. Tye in again, and Lincoln steers that into the gully, and a comfortable single really. There was a try at the stumps from Ian Cobain, but not really a chance of a run out.
I respectfully say that this rookie hasn't faced anything as quick as Andrew Tye before. Not for Berkshire 2s or Berkshire in the minor counties.
Or Middlesex seconds for that matter.
Yeah.
BBC Radio Bristol DAB, online via the BBC Sport website. It may be a Thursday afternoon, but it's packed here at Cheltenham. And it's a short ball from Tye, and Eskenazi tries to come down the pitch and hook him into the members' stand, but it doesn't get a touch, and that's the one for the over.
It is the one for the over, but you know you're not going to have a short ball now, which is a bit of a problem.
So Smith and Hammond just changing positions here on the leg side. Hammond has gone to mid-off. We've still got Higgins out on the boundary. Eskenazi waits for Tye again, and that is pulled into the gap, and that'll be 4. Nothing Smith could do about that. Higgins was very square, but it was short enough that Eskenazi could get into position. It was actually a pretty low risk shot, to be honest.
It was, yeah, it's very short.
The bounce is pretty true here at Cheltenham, and it was a comfortable 4 for Eskenazi. He goes to 22.
Well, he's looking good as Eskenazi at the moment.
Averages 30 in this format of the game. Played a huge number of matches, mind you, but he clips another single to Ryan Higgins off tied deep on the boundary, but the ball was thrown in on the bounce once more.
He slowed that down, didn't he, Andrew Tyre, that delivery?
I mean, half an hour of Milan would have been bad news for Gloucestershire, let's be honest, but having skewed that Skyer, which was taken by Van Buren, Middlesex now have debutant Dan Lincoln in at 3, and he's facing Ty once more. That's short, and he's got that off a thin edge. It's almost a Scoopy's kind of shot over James Bracey and all the way to the boundary at third man for 4. It's the end of Ty's first over, and Lincoln has 17, Eskenazi has 23, and Middlesex are 48 for 1 at the end of the power play.
That's not bad. It's about just a bit above average. I would venture to suggest that the rookie is 17 runs. He probably knew what was happening about 6 of them, because he got a touch to that one and it went over the head of Bracey and he was absolutely trying to hook it, so he just got a top edge. Now then, Benny Howell comes on, and of course you can now have 5, can't you, outside the circle. And Benny Howell, he loves bowling in red ball cricket, white ball cricket. He bowls a completely different standard to what he does in county championship. He'll cover the ball with his hand, so Eskenazi can't quite see what ball he's going to bowl. Here he comes. Yep, he's not showing the ball at all. Now he bowls, and that's clipped, and it's going to be just a single as Cobain comes into field. Good throw.
This is where the analysts do all they can to prepare a player, don't they? But if you can't see, if the ball is hidden, as you say, as Howell's is, until the last possible minute, the batsmen only have a split second to actually pick the delivery.
Here comes Howell again, bowls, and turned down to that's Van Buren at long leg, or short long leg, single again. I mean, what a ball is not much in T20, is it? I mean, if you can go for 5 or 6 and over, that's all right. It's not brilliant, but it's fine.
So an orthodox third man, but a short fine leg, which is where Van Buren is. But even there, there's a run to him if they play at the right pace and go off quickly.
He rolls again, and that's going to be. They're probably going to try and get 2 on this occasion. No, that's a good bit of fielding. That's attacking the ball,
There's Jack Taylor out there, and he took a tremendous catch here last week in the Glamorgan game. And I come back to something that Tom Smith said about the batting here at Cheltenham in a minute, because that was one of the areas where you might be able to run 2. It's almost like there are several pockets here. Though.
Well, Taylor's attacked it, didn't he? He ran off the rope straight away, and that's going to be a 4. Yeah, he was over pitched from Howell, and he took his chance. I tell you what, this rookie player is not too bad, is he?
Well, Dan Lincoln making his first appearance for Middlesex, coming in with form, having got a brisk, it was 57 ball 100 in the second 11.
Yeah.
Perhaps with this tournament in mind, but not expecting to play so soon. But with ABW's finger injury, he's in the team today, and he's got 22 to his name.
Howell bowls. Hit on the pad, and there's a lone appeal from Howell. They do run through for. Is it a leg bar? Yes, it is a leg bar. Yes.
Tom Smith limbering up, so you may see Smith. I would think from the chapel end, probably.
Yeah, I think Klinger can divide the overs between Smith and Van Buren, can't he? With Howell, Ty.
He's got 6
Payne.
bowlers he can use.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can indeed. As Howell bowls again, and that's guided down to third man. David Payne will keep him down for 2 if he possibly can. He's got a good throw as David Payne, and he proves it then. End of the over. The score is now, I took my glasses off. 56 off.
57 for 1. That score's not quite picked up yet.
57 off 7 overs.
Yeah,
well, it's not bad.
Middlesex haven't looked to be. I mean, Milan obviously struck that big blow at the start, but since then they've tried to hit the bad ball, and Tom Smith is coming on. So Andrew Tice just had the 1 over. 57 for 1 of 7, 26 to Eskenazi and 22 to Dan Lincoln.
Yeah.
And now Tom Smith's slow left arm.
Yeah.
With men out at long off, long on,
Had a
deep
great,
mid wicket and deep square leg.
great game against Worcestershire.
And that's short from Smith. That's worked out towards the boundary in front of the scoreboard, and it's beaten Ian Cobain. He tried to run round and cut it off, but it's gone for 4. And Eskenazi into his stride against Smith straight away. Smith, the former Middlesex man himself, of course.
Yes, he dropped it short, that one.
Middlesex in the 8th over, having won the toss and batting first. That's just worked off his pads comfortably into the onside. There's a single there for Eskenazi, comfortably so. So Middlesex up to 62 for the loss of David Malan. Nick Gubbins probably due in next. And then Simpson, Scott and Roland Jones, the middle order and lower part of the middle order. Smith tosses that right up and Dan Lincoln drives it back, and Smith fields off his own bowling. 62 for 1 it remains. Right-handed, Dan Lincoln doesn't have a shirt number on his back and comes down the pitch this time. That's coolly played, just works it onto the onside. He'll take 1 run because there's a big gap there, and Ty and Higgins are both quite deep.
Yeah, Martin Klinger coming to cover that. Pardon?
Giving everything a wall up and
That's all right, we're fine. What was
working
that?
things to the fence. It's
No.
sometimes just running hard and working the ball into the gaps. Eskenazi faces Smith, slow left arm, and again into that same space, but Ty is in quickly. They'll look for 2, there won't be quite 2 there, and his return to the bowler's end prevents it. It's as much about the pace of the ball as the fielder being aware of where the shot
Absolutely.
is being played.
You can work your way in 2s and 3s. You don't have to go for the
Ty's
boundary all the time.
prepared to give them 1 there, but he doesn't
Yeah.
want them to get 2 if he can help it. Smith again, slow left arm round the wicket, and Lincoln straight back up the pitch. That was a bit straighter from Smith, didn't give him room to play the shot, and Smith fields off his own bowling. So he's got through his first over. 64 for 1, 32 to Eskenazi, 23 to Dan Lincoln. Drinks are brought on for the 2 Middlesex batsmen, and the Gloucestershire bowling figures at the end of the 8th over. David Payne 2 overs for 19, Van Buren 2 overs 1 for 15, Ryan Higgins 1 over for 3, Andrew Ty's only over cost 10 runs, Benny Howell's first over cost 8 runs, and Tom Smith's first over cost 7.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I mean, it is a very hard pitch. I've been out there and the ball is sitting up. Oh, the hobby horse race. I can't wait for the hobby horse race.
That's during the interval.
I know.
Benny Howell.
Here is Benny Howell coming to bowl to Eskenazi, and that's 4 runs. Michael Klinger just couldn't quite reach that. He's 39 years old, but that was just overpitched.
It was. Klinger was interested for a while.
Yeah.
You know how safe a fielder he is, but it was probably 3 strides to his left, and even
Yeah.
a dive wouldn't have done it.
No, it was a good shot. Ryan Higgins had to run round, collect the ball from the boundary. That's 4 more to Eskenazi, who's certainly the backbone of the Middlesex innings at the moment. And that's a ramp shot. That's a clever shot, absolutely clever. That's inventive from Eskenazi. He just got into position so quickly and just ramped it over the fielder on the edge of the circle. 4 more runs to him. Eskenazi is winning this particular battle against Benny Howell.
It's astute, isn't it? Because Howell almost pitched that up, thinking
Yeah.
that the drive would be coming, and it was to say it is a ramp or a scoop shot that he played.
Yes.
Very effective.
He comes in again, and this time, oh, he's got him. Surely that's a lovely bit of stumping from Bracey. Well, I never did. It's been given as a wide. It is a wide, but you can be stumped off a wide. And Eskenazi has gone. I mean, that's unusual. The wide has been given, but you're out. Tough luck.
40 for Eskenazi, but a sharp bit of work
Yeah,
again from James Bracey.
Brilliant bit of work by James Bracey. We can see from here his foot was out of his crease as he got the bails off. So he's gone, and it's Gubbins coming in now. Well, Eskenazi, how many did he go for?
40.
40, okay. Well, that's probably about 40 or 50 less than he would have liked to have gone for. That was a superb bit of work.
26 balls, and 7 fours in that
Yeah,
40.
yeah.
With I think you'd have to say, a broad range of shots.
Yes, it was, but it was. I think he was a bit lazy actually. We could see from here that he had the bails off very quickly. Umpire gave him out, and then the umpire at the other end gave a wide.
So interesting to see Dan Lincoln have a chat with the left-handed Gubbins when he came out to give him an idea about how the pitch was playing. But we're back to a right-hand, left-hand combination again here.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more difficult for the Gloucestershire bowlers to settle on a line when you've got that right and left-hand situation facing them. And Benny Howell's just being very precise here with the placement of Ryan Higgins down.
And Michael Clean is asking him to do that.
Boundary. He's coming round the wicket too, ball.
Yeah, he is going to ground the wicket to Gubbins. It's a very good take by Bracey. Was that the first or second ball they over, Julian?
That was the second.
Second ball, right. 4 balls to face. Gubbins, left-hander. Howell comes in, covers the ball with his hand, and Gubbins gets off the mark. A throw comes in from Smith. An easy-peasy single. Lincoln now comes down to face. I've got to say, Lincoln's doing well actually. Yeah, not too bad at all.
23 he's got.
Yeah. He's
better than a run of ball actually.
Yeah. He's obviously quite a competent young chap. He's 24. He's obviously probably thought his cricket career was not going to be fulfilled, but he's got a big chance here today at Cheltenham College. As Howell bowls again, and that's guided down, and there's another single. David Payne does the fielding. They like that little chop into the gully area, but now David Payne goes back to the left-handed Gubbins.
The one thing I would say, he has had a couple of edges, that's true, but he's tried to play more orthodox shots than Eskenazi and Mahan were.
Well, he's probably not experienced enough to play the big ramp shots. He probably don't get a chance at Berkshire. You never know. As Gubbins faces again, and that's a good ball, and Bracey takes it nicely and whips the bails off, but to no result.
It's another string to James Bracey's bow, being able to
show
that he can keep
he can bowl as well.
In addition to his obvious promise with the bat.
Yeah. Well, he's kept superbly today, I think. It's difficult to stand up to someone of Benny Howell's pace. As Howell comes in again and bowls. Around the wicket bowls, and Gubbins is thwarted for that single as Michael Klinger fields. End of the over. Another a good over that from Benny Howell. How many off that over, Julian Clark? I make the score now.
75 for 2.
75 for 2.
24 to Lincoln and 1 to Gubbins. Just using the test match where England are 176 for 2 and Jack Leach has 89. Joe Denny with him on 1. The second wicket to fall, that of Jason Roy, who was out for 72. And England's lead is 54.
Well, that's boring up to be something of a good game up at Lord's. Higgins is coming in now from the college end. Michael Klinger, he always says every bowler's got to be ready to bowl at any opportunity. You know, he may say, right, you're on next, because he's a very good read of the game.
His wickets in the championship bowling at the college lawn end. He's switched ends now, and Benny Howell's got back onto the boundary at mid-wicket. Higgins right arm over, comes in, that's tossed up, that's going to be 6, no need to chase that, that's gone just to the right of the sight screen at the chapel end. It goes against the small marquee, which I think is the first aid marquee, just as well that those inside it are waiting for trade, which obviously we hope doesn't happen today, but that was a good clean hit, and the straight boundaries are slightly longer than the square ones here at Cheltenham, but Dan Lincoln,
I don't think he's not lacking in confidence, is he?
And even with the men back at long on and long off, that was a very clear blow from Lincoln, who goes again. Now that could be Howell's. It's a deep mid-wicket, he's underneath it, and he takes it. Dan Lincoln departs, Higgins gets his wicket, but the young man has provided good impetus for the Middlesex innings, even though they are now 81 for 3.
Well, I thought he looks a bit sort of arrogant actually, he's going off, but I think he did a good job. It was a gamble putting him in, of course, at the expense of maybe David who's injured, and he got 30, wasn't he? 30, 30 good runs. It now says, and now comes Scott. But the Middlesex tail is a very good batting tail. Toby Rowland Jones, Helm, George Scott, the keeper, was not
John
the keeper.
Simpson at
John
6, Rowan
Simpson,
Jones
yeah.
at 7, Hell,
Yeah.
Nathan Souttar's no muck.
Yeah.
So they do bat a long way down. But I mean, what has been strange to me over the years is that Middlesex have won this tournament once, but they've only ever appeared in one final.
I know.
And their record, dare I say it, touch wood here, against Gloucestershire is very poor.
They've never won, have they?
They've never won
Tie.
an away game against Gloucestershire.
No.
They've had a tie here at Cheltenham, but all the other matches away have ended in defeat.
Yeah. Well, they're bunnies, aren't they? Really? Piece of cake. Did they cross? They probably did, in fact.
They did, in
yes.
fact, because it'll be Nick Gubbins to take strike. Ryan Higgins just rearranging his field. He's brought mid-off up.
Mm-hmm.
And Gubbins waits now, and that's almost a Yorker length ball dug out well by Gubbins, to be fair, but it's only squirted out to Tom Smith, who's at square leg, so he's got an orthodox third man and a fine leg. Smith is at
Scoreboard's
point.
working.
Tie on the boundary at cover. Howes at extra cover. Hammond at mid-off. It's a split field. Only really Klinger saving a single on the leg side. And that's also up in the air. Now, whose is that? That's Cobain's. He's underneath it at long on. And he's safe as houses. So a second wicket for Higgins in the over.
It's falling
But
apart.
Middlesex batsman looks really rueful there, doesn't he? Nick Gubbins as he walks off, and Middlesex now are 81 for 4.
Well, he knew what he was trying to do. I think Higgins perhaps held the ball back a little bit. He went into his shot a little bit early, but right, well, after a decent start, the wickets are tumbling for the away side.
Ian Cobain's 100th T20 match. Nicely going to get at least he on the card at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know how many runs he's going to get with the bat, but his name will be there for doing something positive about the match. He's taking a good catch.
Simpson coming out, I assume, wearing number 20 on his back.
Yeah, John Simpson, the wicket-keeper.
Good player. Very good player. I remember him and Higgins doing damage 2 years ago when Higgins played for Middlesex. And I remember Simpson hitting the ball into the stand and hit a spectator, and he was solicitous and he went over to see if they were okay, which I thought was very impressive.
Middlesex sides are full sprinkling of left-handers, and they've still got that right-left-hand combination in now, even with 4 wickets down.
Higgins
The electronic board is now working again, or at least until it overheats the next time. 81 for 4, and Higgins
Scott
to roll again from the chapel end to Scott, and Higgins almost puts his hands up, almost says that nearly got through, but it was Scott who just pushed it back up the pitch. So Simpson in at 6, and the bowlers start at 7. Not to say that
they can all bat,
don't
can't
have
they?
some bowlers who are handy wielding the willow anyway. Higgins in once more, and that's pushed out in the offside, well fielded by Tom Smith, and Ryan Higgins can do no wrong for Gloucestershire at the moment. 2 wickets, key wickets in the championship win yesterday, and in this spell at the moment he's taken 2 for 9.
Of 2?
It's 81 for 4 in Middlesex, with Simpson and Scott yet to score.
Well, the fielding side love looking up at the scoreboard seeing 2 batsmen on naught, don't they? And they've really paid Middlesex back after a good start by the away side, because they are in danger. If everyone gets a 10 or 15, they are in danger of running out of, perhaps not even using the 20 overs. It's Benny Howe coming into bowl to Scott, who's yet to get off the mark. No, it's Simpson, in fact. I do beg his pardon. Simpson gets a dot ball and is shaped to throw at the stumps by the effervescent Higgins, who's very much involved in every department of the game.
I know that was his first ball. There was no timing on that at all.
No, none at all. As Cleve Hill looking absolutely delicious in the sultry sunshine. Wouldn't mind being on top of there today, but we're in the cool night at Cheltenham College, and that's a single. Klinger gets the misfield by Klinger. It was a 1 anyway, to be fair, so no harm done.
Klinger was irritated by that single, wasn't he? A pick-up and a throw would have been an interesting scenario with a direct hit. As it was a rare fumble from Klinger, who once again gets the semaphore out. He's moving Jack Taylor further round to mid-wicket, and Benny Howell is covering that sort of straighter mid-wicket area inside the circle.
Certainly is. He comes to bowl again, and that's driven. And Ty, fielding in front of us, will collect. Throws the ball with venom towards Bracey.
The outfield looks great, doesn't it? I know the school square is towards the left-hand edge of the outfield, towards the left-hand end of the ground in front of the chapel. That's where they played the championship match against Lancashire. But as a rule of thumb, for an out ground, Cheltenham could not look better than this.
It's absolutely perfect. There's not a seat to be had, I can tell you, as anyhow around the wicket bowls, and that gets an inside edge. He might get two. No, David Payne's onto it, and it's a fortuitous shot for a single.
Are Middlesex struggling with the pace of this pitch?
They could be, you know. I mean, well, there's been a couple of meaty blows that have succeeded, but they aren't timing the ball very well. I think that's perhaps one of the reasons why Michael Klinger is let to play two spinners. As Scott faces now, 84 for 4, and that's a dead ball. It's going to be a single. Always is. You just play it just in front of you, just let the ball drop off your bat. And so there are now. I always think, I don't know if you agree with me, in 2020 you look at the score after 12 overs and you sort of double it. Well, okay, they got 1 over to go after this. There's going to be about 175, you would think.
It depends, Bob, on the wickets column, doesn't it? I think if Middlesex were 2 down, you'd say yes, but they're 4 down. And Gloucestershire nipped 1 more out.
Simpson faces Howell, and that's going to be a 6. Watch out, everyone! Crash, and it's been caught in the crowd again. You can tell because the arms go up. That was a straight 6. It was over pitched from Howell. He's guilty of doing that on occasions, and that was a bit of a blow.
Well, the marquees that loop round this ground from the Sanford Road side, that's the side opposite our commentary position on the pavilion balcony, right the way around to the college lawn at the far end, are absolutely packed today, as you might accept. And those stood out in the front of the sponsors marquee by the sight screen at the college lawn end had time to set themselves to catch that, didn't they?
Well, they did.
91 for 4.
Must forget
after 11. Andrew Tye back in the attack.
Yeah, I was going to say this is the school holidays, of course, as well. So lots of children in from school age. AJ Tye. There's something about his name, isn't there? It's menacing.
How many other grounds on a Thursday afternoon
would
be full like this?
They don't play on this is the only. I think this is the only time they do play midweek afternoons in the 2020 competition.
So Howell and Cobain back at long on and long off respectively, and Scott to face Tye from the chapel end, right arm over. It's a little bit short of a length, and Tye thought, Scott thought about launching a big drive at it, but just checked it, and Tye fielded off his own bowling. The Middlesex board at the moment has the men out: Eskenazi for 40, Milan for 6, debutant Dan Lincoln for 30, and Gubbins for 1. The bearded Tye strides in and bowls, and that's gone, no question about that. We heard that, Nick, from here. Middlesex 5 down, and Andrew Tye has his man. Scott goes, and Middlesex are 91 for 5.
Yeah, a lovely ball from Tye. I mean, easy catch the keeper, Bracey, although he was travelling quite fast. And I just think they're losing wickets in gay abandon. You can see that repeated on the big screen. And Tye runs down to celebrate. Why wouldn't he? I just think the Middlesex are undoing the good start they had.
Well, the stand between Eskenazi and Lincoln went along at a good rate, and they added 53 I should say, together. And at that stage a score starting with a 2 might have been possible, but I don't see that now. And Rowan Jones is in at number 7 to partner John Simpson. At one stage, and I'm sure you remember this, Terry Rowan Jones was wanted by Gloucestershire. He was a bowler that Gloucestershire wanted to try and sign. In the end, he stayed at Middlesex, obviously went on to play Test career for England, and because he was there, Ryan Higgins felt he couldn't get in the team. And Gloucestershire have actually done perhaps equally as well out of it. But Rowan Jones is in at number 7 for Middlesex. Andrew Tye to bowl to him, and that's defensive push from the tall Roland Jones, who just stands up and
He's a dangerous character at the back there, Roland Jones.
puts it back up the pitch. 91 for 5 in the 12th. Tom Smith is limbering up again. Benny Howell has bowled 3 of his innings 4, so 1 for 29. Not perhaps as efficient or as effective as last week, but he's got 1 over left, and that's pushed away comfortably by Roland Jones. This goes to Tom Smith, who tries to fire at the bowler's end. I'm not sure Roland Jones would have been out anyway, but it was
a good try.
Athletic attempt from Smith, and backed up by Miles Hammond. They just get 1. Roland Jones is off the mark. 92 for 5.
Roland Jones and Helm caused chaos against Gloucestershire Old Merchant Taylors in the county championship match earlier on this season. There's a massive stand. It was about a 2-hour stand they put on. I can't remember how many for the 9th wicket. They both combat.
The left-handed Simpson then waits for Ty, who has a wicket in this over already, and that's outside the off stump and outside the bat of the outside edge of Simpson's back and batting through to James Bracey.
Yeah, it's now Ty is in his he's in his 2nd over. Now presumably Michael Klinger's thinking about keeping him back for the last 2, along with possibly David Payne, or he might ignore David Payne and let Van Buren and Smith bowl out. He has a lot of options as Michael Klinger with this balanced
2
side.
overs have given him that flexibility. Here is Ty once more, right over the wicket, and we'll just get it 1 this time. Ty tries to stop that little push.
Fell over, didn't he?
Simpson up towards long on, can't do it, and there's a comfortable single, but success for Ty in that over. He gets a good round of applause from the members. 93 for 5. Simpson has 9, and Roland Jones has 1, and Ty has taken 1 for 12 in 2 overs.
Well, he's done well, no doubt about it. Chris Dent, the 12th man, comes out to administer a helmet, which Bracey will don. Now Smith's coming in again from the college lawn end.
So he's keeping 1 over Howell in reserve.
Yeah. 93 for 5. Now you sort of double it, don't you? Well, that's the rule of thumb. So it looks like 180, but I think with the wickets in hand, it'll probably be near 165, 170.
I think they'd be pleased to get that from here.
Let's see what Smith can do. He bowls to Simpson, and he tried to play it, and he gets a fortuitous. What is it? Is it leg buys? Yeah, leg buys it is given. Brings Roland Jones down to face Smith. The sun comes out.
My take would be if Middlesex got 80 in the last 8 overs from here with 5 wickets down, I think they would probably take that and say, we're in the game of 170.
Yeah, but in 12 overs, 5 wickets down is quite unusual, isn't it, T20? They're normally 3s down, but let's wait and see what happens to this delivery from Tom Smith. He bowls, and that's played back, and Smith can't reach it. It's going to be a single. They probably think about coming back for 2. Are they going to? No, they're not, because the ball's firmly in the hands of Ian Cobain out there.
Dare I say, these 2 might think about
milking,
trying to rotate the strike for 4 or 5 overs, and then really try and accelerate in the last 3.
Yeah, they could be possibly doing that. Simpson. Well, that's. I'm afraid that theory is down the window, because that's fielded by Jack Taylor outside on the cover boundary. They go back for 2. Simpson fancied that. He went down the pitch, but I think Smith bowled a good ball at him.
Element of risk in that play.
Yeah,
that shot,
it was. Yeah. Smith enjoys bowling with the old white ball. Bowls to Simpson again, and that's down the leg side, and that's a wide. It's a wide given. Yes, no doubt about it. Good take though by Bracey.
Some news of a wicket in the test match at the end of the over.
Ooh. Smith again bowls, and that's going to go to a single. And no, it's going to come in, and Hammond is the fielder, and that's a great bit of fielding from Hammond. And the throw's a little bit wayward. The thing that Gloucester are doing in the field, they are attacking the ball.
Yes, the throw was not that accurate, but he got the throw away quickly. That was the point.
Yeah, you never. Once the ball's thrown, you must be mad to risk a single. Smith comes in again to bowl to Simpson, who's on 12, and that's played casually in many ways to Klinger. Missed out then, he did. It was a bit short.
Still got a man out at deep square leg and deep cover.
Here he comes in.
Off.
Smith comes in again. That's short. And that had a rip in it. And he cut it and missed it and went to the base behind the stumps. Good over.
No foot movement from Roland Jones there at all, was he? He tried to just stand up and punch it out towards the cover point boundary. And when he realised that it bounced a bit more butts than he expected, 99 for 5. Now Jack Leach, we gather, is out in the test match. How many did he get is the question, because he went in last night obviously with England having to bat for 1 over, and the answer is he made 92, caught by a dare off Tim Murtagh. So England 182 for 3, lead by 60.
Ryan Higgins coming on to bowl his 3rd over from the Chapel end. I tell you what, and you look to the Chapel's fine. That ugly skyscraper behind it is absolutely a mad example of planning here at Cheltenham.
Here's Higgins then to bowl to the left-handed Simpson. Oh, that's a slower ball, and it's caught by Klinger. I say caught by Klinger. I think Klinger's saying it's not carried.
No, I don't think it did.
Klinger immediately said it hadn't carried.
No.
It was a good stop. Tried to get his fingers underneath it as he dived forward. The crowd thought it was out. Our initial thought was it might have been out, but Klinger immediately held up the hand and threw the ball back to Higgins and say no, it didn't carry. Simpson has another go. This time it tries a big drive at Higgins, but it's gone straight to Ian Coburn at long on. It's the 100 up for Middlesex, but it's 100 for 5 in the 14th.
6th over to go.
And Klinger, it's almost like a magnet in the field sometimes, because he backs himself almost not to drop anything. And so short cover, short extra cover often is where he positions himself, and now he's gone to the offside for Roland Jones, and Hammond has come out to be in front of the players' pavilion at a deep mid-wicket, at a forward mid-wicket really. Higgins in to bowl to Roland Jones. They'll try and take 2 here. Hammond's quickly in, he gets to the ball now, but it's a fumble, and they can come back for a second. It wasn't the best bounce in front of him actually. He's got the first rough bounce of the afternoon, and they're able to scramble to 102 for 5. This is Higgins' 3rd over.
He's bowled very well, as always.
Middlesex on the back foot here. Higgins to bowl, that's clipped away on the bounce. It probably won't be clipped by Ty, can't quite do it. It bounced quite low to him as he went round from the boundary at square leg. 2 bounces into the boards, and Roland Jones is registering a boundary for the first time.
Well, he's a good bat. He's the danger man coming in lower down the order.
Plenty of power for the right-hander. Waits for Higgins now from the Chapel end. It gets a bit shorter and just pushed out on the offside straight to Klinger. Just the impression of what we've seen so far, he's quite happy to drive a full length ball. He's not quite so happy when it's a back of a length. 106 for 5, 13 to Simpson and 6 to Roland Jones. And the former England Test player waits, and Higgins again, that's pitched up, so he's got a fairly comfortable drive to long off, but it's only 1 run. Cobain's throw is in, and Higgins has got through his 3rd over. He's had a good afternoon. He's got 1 over left to his allocation, and his 3 overs have cost the score. The score is just ticking up. 17 off his 3 overs, and he's taken 2 wickets as well. The other wicket takers, Van Buren, Ty and Howell.
Now they've got Bracey,
7 for 5, and Howell's coming back to bowl his last over.
Yeah, and Bracey's standing up.
Number 13, Benny Howell.
It's a good move, I think, for Michael Klinger to bring Benny Howell on.
So we'll have 5 overs after this. Ty still has two in the locker. Payne has 2. The spinners both have 2 as well. So he's got, as I say, he's got flexibility.
Yeah, as Howell comes in and bowls. And that's turned towards Jack Taylor, who comes into field, again attacks the board, just keeps it down to 1. I tell you what, I am very impressed about the Gloucestershire fielders. They just practice.
They fielded very well last week in that Glamorgan.
They
We
did.
only saw 16 overs, but the catching was excellent.
Yeah, it was. They haven't put anything down yet today. Simpson faces Benny Howard, comes in, he's on 11, 108 for 5. And that took a bit of a bounce. I don't know, did that hit Howe as it came in? And Ty comes in rather laboriously and throws, they go for 2.
Off his boot, I think.
Yeah. Must have hurt him then. He's showing no pain.
I was talking to somebody actually before the start of pace there about how draining the match against Worcestershire would have been yesterday, and I suspect that because they won, they're just sort of riding that adrenaline from yesterday, however tiring it may have been.
Well, Richard Dawson said, I don't know what sort of team I'm going to put out tomorrow. He said yesterday, as Benny Howe comes in again, and that's defended. But as it was, he can put out exactly the same team he wanted to put out.
Well, he doesn't have the flexibility of some of the bigger squads. He's got Matt Taylor injured.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, they've gone with an extra slower bowler compared to
wise move.
Van Buren compared to Little, which was probably the flip of a coin decision.
Well, as I always say, a fast bowl, you get a snick and it goes for 4, doesn't it? As Howe comes in again and bowls to Simpson, who's on 15, and make that another. Whoa! That would have been the catch of the century, I think, if it had been anywhere near it. I think it was Hammond out there who just ran along and flung himself at it, but it went for 6.
Into the boards on the full, but was it a catchable height? Well, it was.
Probably.
But Hammond would have. It would have taken a superhuman effort to have reached it.
Yeah, it would have been a superb catch. As Howe comes in again and bowls, and that's again hits Howe on the full as a chance. I've got to say, realistically, to be scrupulously fair, I think that was a bit of a chance, but it was hit with such power, Howe never had a chance to react. That's what happens in 2020, doesn't it? He hit the boulders on us, followed through. He has little time to look up, and the ball's drilled back to him. 117 for 5. Last ball at the 15th over, and that's steered into Klinger, and Klinger will just easily make it into a single, which he duly does. 118 for 5. 5 overs to go.
Yes, 22 to Simpson and 11 for Roland Jones. So 5 overs to go.
Yeah.
I would say it's advantage Gloucestershire at the minute because of the wickets column, isn't it? 5 overs to go. Yes, these two are capable of putting bat to ball, but Howell has finished with 4 overs, 1 for 40, as you've already heard Rob Scanlon say on the PA.
Well, that's okay, isn't it?
Ty's taken 1 for 12 in 2 overs. BBC Radio Bristol DAB. We're live on the BBC Sport website and also on BBC London as well.
Hooray!
Very welcome to a packed Cheltenham College, last Gloucestershire fixture of this
sad, isn't it?
2019 festival. There are some under-19s games Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And here is Ty to bowl to the right-handed Roland Jones, who tries to steer it very fine to third man but doesn't get a touch, and it goes through to Bracey. You can sometimes tell about the discipline by the number of extras so far. Only 6, 1 by, 2 wides and 2 leg byes. One of those wides brought a wicket. So Gloucestershire's out cricket again has been disciplined, and you can hemorrhage runs in extras sometimes, can't you?
Oh yes.
Here is Ty again, right arm over the wicket to Roland Jones, who gives it a very straight arm shot down the ground. He'll only get 1 to long on.
Yeah, they don't trust any of the fielders out there.
And he plays he bowls very upright, Roland Jones, and his stance is very upright at the crease too, isn't it?
Yeah. I might remind listeners that Gloucestershire are playing on Saturday at Chelmsford, Saturday evening. The game is on Sky.
7 o'clock?
Yes, of course. Ball by ball commentary, of course, as always, on your BBC.
Bob and Ed Seaborn.
Yes, it is. I'm looking forward to
Little Street.
Looking forward to Chelmsford.
Ty again, right arm over the wicket, bowls, and what's a horrible, ugly stroke from Simpson. He'll get 1. He won't get more than that because Jack Taylor's return is on its way straight away from mid-wicket. And They'll just add one to the board. 120 for 5 Middlesex. 4 overs after this.
I think 165, something like that would be a good score.
They may be leaning rather more heavily on their bowlers
Yeah.
than they would want, Middlesex, from this point. Ty in his 3rd over of 4. One would assume a 4. Bowls once more. That's very short. It's a slower ball bouncer. And Roland Jones can't read it at all. He doesn't get a touch and it goes through to James Bracey.
Yep.
A better batsman might have read the pace of that, but Roland Jones couldn't.
He disguised it very well, didn't he?
Ty.
I just think they're mixing and matching perfectly at the moment.
He and Howell are the bowlers with variety of pace in this Gloucestershire team. Big Australian comes in once more, and Roland Jones again doesn't get a clean contact on that, and Ty tries to have a shot at the bowler's end. They scamper through for one, but Ian Coburn's backing up. Ty's throw doesn't hit the stumps anyway, and one is all they can scramble.
Well, Ty did well then, because it was that Roland Jones was a little bit slow in getting back, and he picked up and threw the ball. Luckily for him, Cobain was backing up, but they do that in this Gloucestershire season. Whatever happens, there's always someone backing up.
121 for 5. Klinger again is
orchestrating things.
Sort of straight extra cover in that position where he so nearly took the catch in Ty's last over. And Simpson once more again gets on the outside half of the bat. He'll take one and he'll keep the strike, which is probably what he's going to do anyway. But it's another good over from Andrew Ty. 3 overs, 1 for 16, which in T20 is the equivalent of Scrooge, only 4 off the over. And 122 for 5 Middlesex. 4 overs to go. And David Payne's going to come back and bowl at least one of them from the college lawn end.
Well, David Payne, he has got 2 overs in his locker. I think Michael Kling will have a look at how this one goes, because he was quite expensive early on, but that was against Eskenazi and Malan. So I trust David Payne in this situation. Read the scorecard. Do so.
Eskenazi for 40, Milan for 6, debutant Dan Lincoln for 30, Gubbins for a single, and Scott for 2 other men out for Middlesex. Still to come, they have Tom Helm, Nathan Souter, Steve Finn, and Mujib ur Rahman. If we get as far as him, I think Gloucestershire will be well on top.
Well, I know they can all bat. Stephen Finn can hit a lengthy ball, can't he? It's going to be Payne bowling his 3rd over from the college lawn end, 122 for 5. Simpson on 24 faces him and drives and just gets himself a single, as it's Graham Van Buren out there, I think it is. No, it's Benny Howell, throws it in for a single. So if they can just keep the boundaries down, it won't be a massive score.
So there have been 4 sixes in this Middlesex innings, and Simpson, who's got 25 to his name, has hit 2 of them.
It certainly has. But some long 6s were tried and then caught in the deep, so you have to get hold of it well and truly. As here's how Payne again bowls, and that's a miss, a swish and a miss from Roland Jones. Good dot ball, gets a round of applause.
Yeah, interesting field that he's got for Roland Jones. He's got a almost a short third manner of fly slip and a deep gully, both on the edge of the circle,
and he's got
a
someone
short
here,
fine leg. So he's giving Roland Jones spaces on the leg side in particular. He said, "Okay, Toby, you can push a single. You can probably get 2 in certain gaps on the leg side, but I think Payne is really going to pitch this up."
Well, that's short, and it's going to go probably for 2. Are they going to scamper 2? No, they're not. A good throw comes in from Mr. Cobain.
Okay, so one of us didn't know what we were talking about.
No, well, no. I mean, I think he was trying to make it for 2, but of course the Gloucestershire fielders are on the metal. On the metal, they certainly are. This is a good over. 3 balls. It's gone for 3 runs, is it? 2 runs, 3 balls.
Either that or it's a double bluff.
Could be a double bluff. It's Payne bowls again. And whipped down by Simpson, just another single. Cobain fields, throws it in. It's the sort of shot that if it was in the last over, they probably would go scamper for 2 and take a chance, but with.
Simpson striking those straight shots quite cleanly though, so the ball's going too quickly to the fielder to allow the 2.
Yeah, but I think they might in the last over try and
125 for 5 in the 16th.
Yeah, Roland Jones on 14. Payne bowls to him now, and that's up in the air. Who's going to have that? It's going to be Klinger catches it. Well done, Michael Klinger. Phew. Roland Jones goes for 14. It was in there a long time, and you just knew that Michael Klinger was going to pouch that. You just knew it.
If you were a new parent with a young baby, you'd give it to Klinger in the knowledge that in
hold on to
it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I say, you come here about 2 hours before the start. That's what they're doing. You get Richard Dawson hitting the ball high up in the air. Now Helm is coming. He's a good bat as well, but they are in danger of possibly going all out. As Helm has a little chat with
it's
Simpson.
A situation that the fielding side love to be in, but the opposition is 6 wickets down with 3.1 overs. 3.1 overs
to go. Yeah, 19 balls.
And increasingly it becomes about the one established player. So
yeah,
here John Simpson's got a responsibility to try, if he can, and farm the strike a little bit.
What are we looking
to take about Helm, but he does not get a chance in this form.
No, he hasn't. We're looking for a 1, I would think, Simpson on this for this last ball of Payne's over. And in fact, misfield. Again, I feel sorry for Tom Smith because it was on that. It was on that very hard patch of the bowlers' run-ups on those previously used squares. So you've got to feel a tad of sympathy for him, but. Michael Klinger won't. That was 2 runs, 127 for 6. Worked out quite well for Gloucestershire because Simpson didn't pinch the strike.
Well, Payne's taken 1 for 23 in his 3 overs.
It was after a disastrous first over, wasn't it?
And Ryan Higgins is going to complete his set now from the Chapel End. 127 for 6, Thursday afternoon live cricket on the BBC, BBC Radio Bristol DAB, and online via the BBC Sport website. It's a long campaign, of course, 14 matches for Gloucestershire. This is only match number 2, and most of August is taken up with this tournament, with the exception of a championship game for Gloucestershire at Derby,
which is very important.
Back into the we can talk about that during the interval. Here is the right-handed Helm to face Higgins. Just works that away on the onside. Tall man, right-hander, and Payne fields, and Middlesex trying to get a workman-like total on the board here.
At the moment, it's below par. I mean, Ryan Higgins won't mind getting for 5 or 6 and over. A lot of the boundary balls are the important ones.
He started this over with 2 for 17 against his name, and Simpson, who has 28, is now on strike, the left-hander. It's a slower ball tossed up. It's going to be at least 1. There's a long run for Benny Howell round from long off, and they're going to come back for 2. The cry of take them from somebody in the members, which refers to Higgins trying to take the bails off at the bowler's end, but they can scamper back for 2, and that's probably one of the longest boundaries on the ground, out towards long off, towards the Chapel, and there's a comfortable 2 there if you can place it right. Simpson waits once more. That's pitched a bit further up from Higgins. He can't work that into that gap. It's too straight. And Jack Taylor in his white and green boots does the fielding, keeps them down to 1. Gets Helm back on strike. 131 for 6 in the 18th. You know, you think small ground must be a big score. Not always the way, because sometimes the visiting side in particular don't know about the bounce and the pace of these wickets at Cheltenham. Clipped away onto the onside by Helm. They'll look for 2, but there isn't 2 there because Hammond is in quickly. It wasn't really played at the right pace for that. So Helm is just going to rotate the strike and give it back to Simpson once more.
Good over this from
Higgins is having a really hot time with things form-wise at the moment. Valley with both bat and ball. Gloucestershire got again a short fine legger and a deep gully, and 1 more to Simpson, out to Miles Hammond, who will no doubt open the Gloucestershire innings with Michael Klinger a bit later. And Middlesex ticking the score up, but only doing that, and that will be absolutely fine from a Gloucestershire perspective.
13 balls to go.
133 for 6. Higgins in his last over bowls to Helm, and well stopped off his own bowling. That's the end of Higgins' stint. 2 for 23, I think, Julian.
Yeah, well bowled.
And that's very well bowled on a small ground on a day like this. 133 for 6, and there are 2 overs to go.
Well, it's going to be
160.
2 wickets for 23 runs.
Do very well to get 160.
It's going to be David Payne and Ty, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Payne and Ty probably. And if that's the case, the 4 overs between Van Buren and Smith will have only cost 27.
Very good bowling. Well, if Little had played, there'd been a fast option, and I always worry about fast bowlers at the end because they can just slash and get runs.
Did you say Ty and Payne?
It's Payne and Ty.
Yes, Payne and Ty, in that order.
Here's Payne, bowls. And that's going to be just a single, fielded by the skipper out there. Singles are fine.
Often you see a Gloucestershire card where potentially Benny Howe might be the most expensive bowler.
Yeah, but he's done well, though. He's done well. Well, Payne had a couple of loose overs at the start, but he's really come back into his own.
3 overs for 24 at the start of this one.
Yeah. They'll probably go for a big hit now. Helm was on 2. Let's see what he's going to do. Up in the air. That's good about. Klinger go. Klinger snaps. That was almost exactly identical to the previous wicket that Klinger took. Up in the air straight away. Had all the time in the world to set himself. And Klinger gets another wicket. And Payne will take the credit. Why wouldn't he? Helm goes.
We mentioned this last week during the rain-affected game against the Millwall. Is it about the variation of the delivery from the Gloucestershire bowler?
Probably.
Or is it about the pace of the pitch and the batsman not adjusting to it?
I think probably Payne held that back a little tiny bit and made him play the shot a little bit early. It was, I've got to say, it was a rank bad shot. And Payne picks up his 3rd wicket, is it, or his 2nd, Julian? Second. Well done, David Payne.
Nathan Souter in.
It's a dot ball as well, which helps.
So Nathan Souter in at number 9.
Yeah, 200.
He may have an important role to play later.
Well, he will do, yeah. Are you into this music? It's Ibiza stuff, you know.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never been there.
Well, it's good Ibiza, yeah. If you like club music. 134 for 7. Out comes Souter. They did cross, though. Simpson's going to face Payne. His 3rd ball of his last over. And Simpson just gets a single. I think they're coming back for 2. Are they coming back for 2? That is gold! Oh! And Payne left that. I can understand why he did, because he thought the ball was going to hit the stumps. But they go through for 2. I don't think they get 150.
Again, Gloucestershire in the field have barely made an over. A couple of fumbles on worn wickets that he used for the warm-ups, but apart from that,
it's been fantastic.
Again, their out cricket's been very good.
Simpson on 35, 136 for 7. Payne bowls, and that's just evades Payne. And this time they think about coming back for 2, but this time they don't. The throw comes in. It's a wild one, but it's a good one as well. And Benny Howe.
And you can almost have a specialist position for certain players in the T20. You know, you'll often find Jack Taylor on the boundary square with the wicket off. You'll find Ian Cobain at long off and long on in particular.
Yep.
Again, because he's very safe under the high ball. And Gloucestershire, effectively, everybody knows what their role is in terms of the fielding group, don't they? And Payne and Klinger, bowler and captain, just having a chat about.
Well, I think Payne asking for something.
He's got 2 balls to go. Souter is on strike.
No, he's pushed Benny Howe out to the long on boundary, and he's brought Smith into the circle. I think that's the change that David Payne asked for, and Michael Klinger has accepted it. He bowls to Souter, who's yet to get off the mark, and just over the head of Ty, and it's 4 runs. It's a short boundary, this one. It was, well, it was a poor ball. It went for 4.
It was a squirted shot.
Squirty shot, yeah. Squirty shot.
Nothing Ty could do. Once it was over him, it was racing away to the fence.
Well, it's 141 for 7. I think they'll probably end up about, well, it depends what the last day was going to be like. I reckon about 152, which is below par for Cheltenham, I would think. I would put Gloucestershire as favourites. Now, Cleveland playing a deep discussion again.
Souter's got a problem of some sort. He's just given something to.
Yes.
Oh, he's given something to one of the umpires. I'm not sure what that is. We're in the last but one over. 7 balls to go. One more from Payne, assuming it's not a wide or a no ball, and then the last over probably will be bowled by
AJ.
Andrew Ty. 141 for 7, and they won the toss, Middlesex.
Here is Payne bowls. Up in the air, surely another one. Caught by Hammond. Well, they're all falling like flies at the moment, you've got to say. 141 for 8. And that was Souter, and he's been and gone.
I thought that Klinger was going for a hat-trick of catches.
Well, I thought so. He called. I thought it was going down Klinger's throat, but it wasn't. He wasn't. Hammond called for it. And I think that's the 4th Skyer that Gloucestershire caught.
And David Payne finishes with 3 for 32.
Now, who's this coming at? It isn't Finn, it's your man.
Well, the best way of putting the brake on any T20 scoring spree is to take wickets.
Yeah.
That's what Gloucestershire have done here. And we now have the unlikely sight of Mujibur Rahman coming out at number 11.
Saw him bowl for Sussex in the county championship match. Good.
So you don't mean you're thinking Rashid Khan?
I'm thinking Rashid Khan, yeah.
Same country. Also a spinner.
Same type of bowling. Whoops.
Ty will bowl the last over.
He will.
141 for 8. And
look at him.
Andrew Ty to Mujibur Rahman. That may not be an equal contest, you would think.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
The man's only 18 years old. He's played a surprising amount of first-team cricket, and he's bowled first ball. 141 all out. Simpson is stranded on 36.
Finn's got to come in.
And Gloucestershire have. There is. Oh, I do. A Romano disservice because we haven't seen Stephen Finn.
No, here he comes out now.
He was down on the card at 11, but he came in ahead of Stephen Finn, so not all out. False alarm.
The long and the short of it out there, isn't it?
The tall figure of the Watford supporter that is Stephen Finn comes out at number 11.
Yeah. Well, he's very much in and out the Middlesex side, Stephen Finn. Is he taking a guard? No, he's not.
He's not even taking a guard?
No, he's not bothering.
Right, Ty to bowl to him. This could be interesting. I thought he'd nicked the first one, and he's been beaten by Ty, and it goes through to James Bracey.
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
I think Ty fancies some pretty impressive figures here. So Payne has finished with 3 wickets, Higgins with 2. Ty has 2 for 16 at the moment, and in bright sunshine with those gazebos behind him at the chapel end, he comes in and bowls again to Finn. I mean, he just runs that to James Bracey almost along the ground off a bottom edge.
Yes,
he'll get a single, and he'll get Simpson back on strike, and that's probably all he was interested in.
Yeah, well, Simpson is on 36. There's 3 balls of the Middlesex innings to go. Now, well, Simpson, I think Simpson will just stand and deliver, I would have thought.
Well,
the sun is out now.
It's raining.
It's raining.
We can hear some rain on the roof of the college balcony canopy. And it's that weird situation where it's bright sunshine, but you can actually hear rain on the roof. So we'll obviously bowl these last 2 balls.
I can't hear any rain at all. Are you mad? Is it raining?
Yeah, it does for a very brief moment.
Oh dear.
It has now stopped.
Well, Gloucestershire got to get 5 overs under their
On the
belt.
10 wickets and a false alarm on the rain, perhaps. He was tied on the left-handed Simpson, penultimate ball, and Simpson skews that off a fortunate top edge that goes for 4.
Well,
Over where about 4th slip would have been. Nothing James Bracey could do about that. There was nobody on the boundary at third man or fine leg who could possibly have got round to it. And Simpson has skewed another 4 to the total.
I would always have a third man actually in that
He's on to
situation.
40. And the rain is actually going to, I think, start again. Rather weirdly. 146 for 9, last ball of the Middlesex innings. Tie to bowl to Simpson, who drives. They'll go hard for 1, they'll try and get 2. Will they make it on? The ball comes to the bowler's end, and
They
he's
did.
home. He's home. That's
Well,
well
Tara
run
questions that decision.
by Stephen Finn to get back. So 148 for 9 Middlesex off the final ball. Tie finishes with 2 for 23, but 148 for 9 Bobs leaves Gloucestershire basically going at 7.5 and over to win the match.
I think Gloucestershire are favourites. I've got to say that. They've got a big batting lineup, and they took their catches superbly. They bowled really well. I just think that was a very professional, if I may use the word, performance.
Well, Michael Klinger leading his team off. We'll just get the card compiled in full, and then we'll run through it and also update you the details from Lords as well. Just while we're doing that, just for a moment,
Whoops. Yes.
recap, if you will, the emotion of being involved on commentary yesterday
Oh.
when Worcestershire needed 18 to win
Yeah.
with 3 wickets left.
Well, they ended up needing 13 to win at the end. It was a superb last over. I always thought my thoughts were wavering throughout the day. Gloucestershire started off as favourites, but as the runs were whittled down, and as you say, 18 with 3 wickets remaining, and then Payne, Higgins, and Howe just completely went through the card. It was a great performance. I was ecstatic at the end, because if Gloucestershire had lost that one, really their chance of promotion would have been in the sack, really. So it's important they won, and well, I just can't think any other words to describe it apart from the fact I went mad at the end. Absolutely bonkers.
And
Absolutely
the
bonkers.
Championship cricket at Cheltenham
Beautiful.
for the last 2 seasons
Yeah.
has been absolutely top draw. I think they've had 4 matches in a row in 4-day cricket go to the final session.
Yeah, yeah. Well, apparently this was since 2015, it was the first season that 2 matches had gone to the finals ball, if you like, in the final session. But I just thought it was superb cricket. Both games were brilliant. Leicestershire, of course, they needed 48 off 8 overs, and they got them with Gareth Rodriguez had a 6 with 3 balls to spare. And in this one, a different sort of game. Gloucestershire just bowled, and they just kept their self going. They just persevered. They were very patient. Chris Dent led the field tremendously well as captain, and I just thought it was a superb advert for county cricket. And the crowd on Sunday, when you were here, was about 3,000. 2,000 on Monday, just a bit under 2,000 on Tuesday, and yesterday, Wednesday, last day, must have been about over 1,000 here to come and see the denouement, and they got their full money's worth. I don't know what this hobby horse race is going on here. It looks a bit of a shambles out here, but who knows?
So there is going to be some entertainment, informal entertainment.
Well, it's sort of entertainment.
Out on the outfield during the interval. I will do the card in a minute.
Yeah.
Gloucestershire having bowled Middlesex to 148 for 9 in their 20 overs. Were you at the outset when Worcestershire was set 246 to win in 81 overs, which obviously meant that Gloucestershire were not going to get a second new
Correct,
ball,
yeah.
and they were a bowler short. Did you
Yeah.
think Worcestershire were favourites?
We did at the start. I mean, Mitchell was out first ball of the second innings. Well, that happens. But then they put a bit of a stand together. And yes, as the day wore on, I said it came in fits and starts. As the day wore on, I was sure that Worcestershire were going to win. However, they did the damage at the end. Poor old Finch, who batted well in the first innings with his captain, was left to face an impossible delivery from was it Payne who got him? Yes, he was caught by Hankins at slip, and the crowd went wild, absolutely wild, because they've got 4 county championship matches left, haven't they? Derbyshire, Sussex, Worcestershire and Northants away, and if they win all those 4, or at least if they get a win in 3 of them, they'll be surely promotion contenders. Division 1,
well,
are they ready for it?
Lancashire, as we know, are top of the 2nd division at the moment. 2nd place Glamorgan, having
but they faltered a bit, haven't they?
129 points. Gloucestershire 3rd, 129. Middlesex are not out of the picture at all. The one thing I would say about Glamorgan is if Marnus Labuschagne gets called away for the Ashes, there's a lot of runs going out of that team. Anyhow, to this afternoon's card, this is how it looks after Middlesex won the toss and elected to bat. Eskenazi stumped, Bracey bowled Howell 40. David Milan caught and bowled Van Buren 6. That was in the 2nd over, having just hit a 6 off Van Buren's previous delivery. Debutant Dan Lincoln made 30 before he was caught by Howell off Higgins. Nick Gubbins caught by Ian Cobain off Higgins for 1. Scott caught by Bracey off Ty for 2. Wicketkeeper Simpson not out 42 from 29 balls. It was a spirited effort from him with a 4 and 2 sixes. Toby Rowland-Jones caught by Klinger off Payne for 14. Tom Hem caught by Klinger off Payne for 2. Nathan Souter caught by Hammond off Payne for 4. And Mujib Ur-Rahman bowled by Ty first ball without scoring. Stephen Finn was not out 1. There were only 6 extras made up of 3 wides, 2 leg byes and 1 bye. 148 for 9 in 20 overs. The bowling figures: Payne 4 overs, 3 for 32. Van Buren, who opened with him, the slow left armour, 2 overs, 1 for 15. Ryan Higgins 4 overs, 2 for 23. Andrew Ty 4 overs, 2 for 23. Benny Howell 4 overs, 1 for 40. He's had better days, but he did take a good catch as well. And Tom Smith 2 overs for 12. So it's basically 7.5 and over to win. This is Gloucestershire's 2nd match. They've had an abandonment already. It would be a fitting finish to this Cheltenham Festival, where they played so well in the 4-day games, to try and gather themselves whatever energy they have, and they have a bit more arguably amongst the batters than the bowlers to get this victory over the line.
Yeah, I mean they do need to win this one, definitely, to stay in contention. Not that it's over and done with by any means, but they've only got a day tomorrow before they travel to Essex on Saturday. So tomorrow I don't think they'll probably do anything. I should imagine they'll go on Saturday morning up to Essex. They need a day of rest tomorrow, don't they? If you're injured, come in and get some treatment. Otherwise, just stay away from anything to do with cricket. Play with your families, anything. Meet on 9 o'clock Saturday morning to go to Chelmsford and win that one. But then they've got a bit of a gap, haven't they? I think they're playing against Tuesday, isn't it? Tuesday?
It's Thursday at Cardiff.
Thursday at Cardiff, yeah, they've got a bit of a break then, which is deserved. But
so on the outfield at the moment,
Hobby Horse
in the break is a race between 5 spectators dressed in the silks of the festival sponsor. They're going up and down an obstacle course.
Coming to the lead, they're going down the front straight over the penultimate hurdle.
Various obstacles to get past, and a gentleman in a purple and white jacket has won sort of sporting and informal thing that is done at T20 that you'd never find on a cricket ground.
Oh, I've never seen that before. I'm sorry, I'm completely distracted by watching a hobby horse race. Loads of people out there making that all happen, and it lasted about 10 seconds. The race.
I think that's actually moderately preferable to getting a spectator who might have been in the bar since the gate opened at 11:30 to spin himself round a pole and then try and run in a straight line, which often is
well, that happened.
They might lay on during the interval, but the play will soon get underway here once more at Cheltenham College. We're almost up to 4 o'clock. Let's just check on matters at Lords, where England are playing Ireland. Of course, there's with a considerable deficit on first innings, and 194 for 5 is the England score. They lead by 72, and that card includes an innings of 92 by the Somerset spinner Jack Leach, who opened for England last night. Jason Roy made 72, Joe Denley out for 10, and Joe Root has just been joined by Johnny Bairstow, who actually is also, I see now, out on the card. So Bairstow's out without scoring, so it's 194 for 5, and England lead Ireland by 72 in that 4-day test. Here, Gloucestershire need to get 149 to win. Middlesex 148 for 9. They've come out in their pink and blue kit. Gloucestershire in the yellow and black, and the openers for Gloucestershire, first thing they've had a chance to bat in this tournament, of course, because they didn't have a chance to bat last week, are Captain Michael Klinger and Miles Hammond. So you've got the right arm, left arm combination, and it looks like it's going to be Tom Helm to open from the Chapel End.
Well, I tell you what, Gloucester have got Michael Klinger. I spoke to him about this. He doesn't really set too much store on the power play. However, I just think in this, with the short bounce on the left-hand side, I just think they've got to try and make 40 in the power play. Would you think adequate, something like that? They don't want to lose a wicket.
Middlesex were 47 for 1 at the end of the power play, but they lost 3 wickets.
Yeah, they don't want to lose 3 wickets.
Up to halfway, and 81 for 4 at halfway, and it was an innings that became further strangled after that. So here is Helm to bowl the first over from the Chapel End, right arm over the wicket, and it's punched away by Hammond into the offside, and it's fielded by Eskenazi. Middlesex are packing the offside
field. They do,
yeah,
they are packing the offside field. There's no gaps. Leg side, if you're bowled on the leg side, there's easy ones, but if you keep that offside line, it's going to be tough.
Slip point, extra cover short really in saving the single, and a mid-off.
There's a third man out and a mid-wicket.
Helm was a very classical, simple action. Right arm over the wicket, comes past umpire Lloyd and bowls, and that hits Hammond in.
That hurt him.
And he's just gone onto his haunches for a moment.
And I know why. Dear, oh dear. That probably hurt him.
I think that probably did hurt. Yes, it was. He might need a drink.
Well, Klinger's going to say, "Get up, get up."
Is he going to call for a drink?
I think he'll probably hit him in a place which men don't like to be hit very much. Truthfully.
He's gone down to have a chat.
And as always, the fielding side laughing. I don't know why. Let's do it.
148 for 9, Middlesex. Gloucestershire 149 to win. But Middlesex have a strong bowling side. They've played 2-1-2 in this tournament so far. Helm into bowl to Hammond, who just
shot.
He gets that through. It didn't look as if he got that off the right part of the bat, but it's going to go out to wide mid-wicket, and it's going to go all the way into the boundary for 4.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a classic shot. It was a bit of a... I think he played the shot quite late, and I just think the pain of the previous ball just made him play like that. I mean, it wasn't a classic shot at all, was it? It was a bit of a clump, you have to say. However, clumps win matches in T20.
Well, Hammond really got into the team last year in the T20 tournament.
Big pinch hitter, wasn't he?
50 in the win at Kent, and he's facing Helm, and he's just worked out on the onside. He's comfortably won anywhere he wants it on the leg side. There's a man out at deep square, and they'll rotate the strike and give Klinger the first chance.
Oh, this is the man I love to watch. I love to watch Klinger.
Helm.
Michael Klinger, I think, is an absolutely master batsman, don't you? Master batsman.
Well, 5,500 runs in this format.
Yeah. Well, he can play.
He probably knows what he's doing.
He can play the county championship role, and then he can play the T20 role. But he'll be out first ball now. You'll watch.
He would like to orchestrate this innings by staying out there as long as possible. 5 for no wicket. Helm to bowl to him.
Shot.
Aerial, but safe through the offside, through the covers, and down towards the boundary for 4.
But what about that shot, eh? He saw that everyone had come in from the offside. All he did was stick it over the top of them.
Well, there's enough bounce from Helm because he's very tall and gets that little bit of extra lift. But Klinger knew there was basically a man in on the edge of the circle at cover and at point, but behind them,
he's looking behind him now.
Safe. 9 for no wicket in the first over, chasing 149 to win. Helm, long strides, comes in and bowls to Klinger, and that's a steer down to third man. or a squirt, perhaps. you could say.
I think it's a squirt or a steer, really. It's meant.
Klinger will keep the strike. End of Helm's first over.
10 for 0, it's fine.
And we're going to see, I think, Mujib-ur-Rahman.
Well, he's good, obviously. I mean, he is very economical, isn't he? You just don't take chances of him. If you do, I just think they're going to milk him.
Well, I say he's been going up 6 and over in the opening 2 matches.
Well, I don't know much about him. I know his reputation. He bowls a fast leg spin, doesn't he, really, if you like? Tweaks it a bit. Right, now Klinger, I shouldn't think Klinger's faced him much, actually. Actually, no, he did. At Sussex, he was bowled by Roger Khan.
The same as
No, I know.
Khan.
I know. Here he comes again. Bowls to Klinger. Klinger cuts and misses. He really puts it through at pace, doesn't he?
It's he is similar to Rashid Khan in that he's quite flat, but the orthodox ball is the off break.
Turns it away down the single. I just think that Klinger's thinking, right, okay, this bloke's got a good reputation. I'm not going to get out to him. Bowls, turns it gracefully down to mid-wicket and helps himself to a single. Now, I'm slightly concerned, maybe wrong, that Miles Hammond hasn't seen much of this sort of stuff. Left-handed.
He's bowling and he's going to switch and bowl around the wicket, and Klinger's come down for a word.
Yeah.
There's a surprise.
The word is don't get out to him. I would imagine it's probably easier to turn it to the leg. There's an easy one on the leg side if he can just get there. Don't hit him hard. I said don't hit him hard. He went for a magnificent, majestic, wild drive, which I would maintain isn't the shot you need to play.
Klinger said to him, Miles, check there's a man at long off, which there is.
Right, we did well then, because there's no third man. Well, he got away with that, did old Miles Hammond. You can't put everyone in any position. That was no one on third man, goes down 4.
It was a bit streaky, mind you.
It was streaky.
But he's chancing his arm because there is no cover there.
Yeah.
You know, the 2 men out are at long off and at deep mid wicket.
Will he try that again? I don't think so. He's on 9 is Hammond, and that's going to be another massive shot. A 6. I don't think he's been used to that for much. That was a lovely shot from Hammond. I just saying, Ian, I don't think that bowler has been used to that shot. Inside out 6.
Probably not. But I think that Hammond, he's chanced his arm in that over against.
Well, why not?
And Gloucestershire got 21 for no wicket, and that's cheap runs, isn't it, in a way?
Yeah.
BBC Radio Bristol DAB, also live on the BBC Sport website. Vitality Blast Cricket with Tom Helm coming in for Middlesex to bowl the 3rd over, and Klinger spanks that away through mid-wicket. That's a lovely stroke, and that's gone all the way to 4 in front of the Players' Pavilion.
I'm bowing to him. I just, every time I see him, he just gets better and better. I mean, that was a lovely shot.
It was almost he's 39, but that was an ageless stroke.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Well, I don't care if he's out now. I've seen a marvellous drive from the mid-wicket area.
23.
One slip's disappeared.
So 25 for no wicket as you were. Helm. Middlesex defending 148 for 9. Bowls to Klinger, and he's gone. Caught behind. Tried to play a little scoop and got a thickish edge and walked straight away. He knew. Catch taken by wicketkeeper Simpson, and an important blow struck for Middlesex as the Gloucestershire captain goes out for 10, and so Klinger is out.
I don't mind too much because we got back to come.
Ian Cobain.
Well, Ian Cobain only plays white ball cricket these days, doesn't he? And he's always done very well.
His 100th T20 match.
Yeah. And that is all for Gloucestershire? Or has he played in Bangladesh or something like that?
My brain says yes.
Right, okay.
My brain says yes.
Well, Middlesex do get an early wicket, but 25 for 1 is okay. Duckworth Lewis still ahead.
He's scored 100 in this format, which I got a suspicion was against Middlesex at Bristol.
I think it was against Surrey at Richmond, wasn't it?
No, Middlesex at Bristol, I think.
Right.
Bristol. Julian's nodding.
All right.
So Cobain right-handed back, and Helm pitches that well up outside the off stump, and it's just driven all the way along the ground to, I think that's Milan at point. Middlesex have got Nathan Souter, their other spinner, out at deep square. We're in the third over, 25 for 1.
Yep.
And remember, at the end of the power play, Middlesex were 47 for 1, just give you confidence on the steer. This is the third over. Helm bowling to Cobain, and that's in the air. That'll be out as well, I think. It should be an easy catch, and it's taken. Tried to pull it on the onside, and it's comfortably taken.
Silly.
2 down, 2 wickets in the over for Helm, and Middlesex saying we're not done in this game yet.
No, they're not. No, stupid shot. The ball rose them a fair bit. Who's this coming out now?
James Bracey at number 4. So we were saying Cobain's 100th match. Unfortunately, it ends with a duck against his name. George Scott with the catch. And 5 for 2.
I think they need a bit of a James Bracey just to hang around a bit.
Well, there are some flair players in the middle order, but arguably the 2 players who might have played the anchor roles are both out. So it's it may be now calling for a different approach. Hammond is not a natural defender. Bracey can be in Championship cricket.
No, you're right.
But Helm has 2 wickets in this over, and if you're listening to us in the London area on BBC London, then a little more hope for you in this over. 25 for 2. Helm to the left-handed Hammond as the players crossed as the ball was in the air, and he just fends that on the onside, fielded by Dan Lincoln, who's at short fine leg.
It's gone a bit quiet now.
The atmosphere of the crowd is understandably raucous, with Gloucester in the field cheering every good bit of fielding, every wicket, every run that was saved. Now intently watching as Helm, again, long strides, comes in again, and that's just played back by Hammond up the pitch. A good over from Tom Helm, his second over. 2 wickets in it, those of Klinger and Cobain, and 25 for 2 after 3 overs. And Majib, despite having a bit of tap in the first over, he's going to continue.
Well, he will do. I think that's obvious, but I think Bracey is not known, quite understandably, for his boundary shots. He's known as a big limpet, and I think they do need him. If he just gets 4 or 5 and over, just keeps the scoreboard ticking along before the big boys comes in. Duckworth Lewis is ahead.
At slip at the moment. There is there's a gap on the leg side.
Yes, he bowls now. And Bracey, straight as a die, plays it straight back to the bowler. I mean, unfortunately, Bracey is, I think he's quite lucky to be playing in this side, because that's what he does all the time. He takes some time to warm up, and you can't expect him to play his unnatural way, can you? You can't expect him to go for broke all the time, but he looks a bit of
in at short mid wicket, saving 1.
He looks a bit of a hurry, actually. That's better from Bracey, a single to him. 26 for 2.
He's almost got a straight mid-wicket and a straight extra cover, isn't he, here, Mujib?
Yeah, now they got that fielder in, which Hammond hit a 6 over cover point. They've still got that fielder in on the edge of the circle. Well, that's a wide, surely it is. That's one more to the total. It is one, isn't it, T20, Julian? Thank you. 27 for 2. And that's the good ball played into extra cover. 18 years old, you say?
18 years old.
Where'd they pick him up from? He must have been.
One assumes playing, watching him playing in the Afghan Premier League.
Well, that's a good shot. Well, this is going to be out cool. No, they catch it on the boundary and they go back for 2. Good bit of fielding out there. 29 for 2.
Scott, but the bounce was kind to him when he reached it, because it sat up nicely when he took it in his stride and got his throw away quickly.
Yeah, he looked quite close to the boundary line actually, but I won't complain. He did run round a lot from his position at long on. Oh, and that's a well, is that a good shot or isn't it a good shot? He got 4 runs through it in Hammond, but he pushed it and it was quite high. He pushed it quite aerial. It just fell short of the fielder at cover point. However, I'll give him the runs, no trouble with that. Another good over. How many in an over, Julian Clark? 8. That's all right. Fine. 33 for 2. 4 overs have been bowled.
So Gloucestershire are ahead of the rate that they have lost already. Klinger and Cobain. Klinger for 10 and Cobain for 0, both in the last over from Tom Helm, who will now continue. So he might really bowl through. We'll see what Manan will do. This is the
Bracey will just.
This is Helm once more. To the left-handed James Bracey in at number 4. And he's pulled that away. There's a man out at deep square, but it dropped short of him. And that was only because Bracey didn't middle it. If he'd have pulled that with anything like the timing he wanted, that could well have been 3 down.
Well, that's what I mean about Bracey. That was an unnatural shot for him to play. I can see when they put him in, but he shouldn't play shots like that. Just treat each ball as it comes, as the old adage is.
He's got 3 saving a single on the offside, and the single to be given on the leg side is to deep square.
Yeah, there is one. Oh, he got a touch to that. Well played. That was good football by Hammond, I've got to say. He got into position very quickly for that. And that were very welcome runs.
And absolutely, if you're a fielding side, there's nothing you can do about that, because it's gone. It is a top edge, but it's played.
Well, he aimed for it. I think he meant to play it.
Do you think he aimed for that?
Well, I don't think he meant to get over the keeper, but I think he meant to get runs down to find one long leg. Yeah, it's worth having a go at.
Fine leg is up, so he'd have to play it in a more orthodox fashion, but it was so fine it went straight over the keeper.
We'll take it. I'll take it.
34 for 2. Helm again to Hammond. Pitched up further this time. Driven straight. Stephen Finn dives. Doesn't know where the ball's gone. He has stopped it. And they'll just take 1 because he gets some help from Toby Rowland Jones, I think, there at mid-on. And they'll just stick to the 1 run. So Hammond is well into double figures now. He's on to 26 out of 39 for 2. And Bracey head still, waits for Helm and gets on the pad.
Leg bite.
Nothing there but a leg bite. So Middlesex have got Finn limbering up. They've got Rowland Jones still to come as well.
Well, Finn will obviously bowl very short, doesn't he?
And the spin of Souter, so it's even without Murtagh and Morgan and Sterling and De Villiers, it's still a really strong squad, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Helm back at the end of his run, which is on those wicket ends of the warm-up wickets. Comes in straight once more, and it's across the line this time. Hammond, it wasn't a very pretty stroke. He didn't get a touch, it's gone through to wicketkeeper John Simpson.
Yeah, it is very much a question. I think Gloucestershire are ahead. I mean, they are, in the 5th over, they got 40. So if it carries on like this, they should win. I just think they play those expensive strokes too early. Wow. Just treat each ball as it comes to you.
Bracey leaning on his bat at the non-striker's end, waits as Helm turns, comes in and bowls again. That's
a good shot.
Hammond. He's played that same shot. He's got a better contact on that. That's the shot he'd looked to play before, to lift it over short fine leg and help it on its way. He got that one much squarer and down in front of the public bar and restaurant at the College Lawn end, where you cannot see a blade of grass at all.
No, you can't.
In front of it, because it's absolutely packed with spectators. And 44 for 2 after 5. 1 over left in the power play. And Mujib is out of the attack, and in comes Stephen Finn.
Yeah, well, I think that's right. So, I can always tell what's happening when I look at the Duckworth-Lewis score. It's a bit of a barometer. It's not always accurate. Duckworth-Lewis is 37, so Gloucestershire 7 ahead. But wickets, of course, do count. But I just think Gloucestershire should win this from here. I think, positively. Do you think so, Julian? You think so? Yeah, they should. Yeah, they should. Bracey facing. He's on 2. As Finn bowls to him, it is short and it's going straight down the throat. Oh no! Oh, that was a difficult chance right in front of us. Did he attack it enough? I couldn't quite see. He was in front of us.
I think Souter was in 2 minds. Do I go for the catch or stop the 4? And in the end, he probably ended up a bit caught between two stools, and he did stop the 4, but he was never really going to make the catch.
It's one of those ones, do I go for it or not?
Yeah.
Right, okay, Hammond. Now they've taken the slip away, which I think it makes sense. They'll probably put him in at short mid-wicket. Yes, they will. So it's a very strong field on the offside, and they've got a 3rd man as he bowls, Finn, and that's inside out. That's 4. 1 bounce 4, and Hammond, he's on fire, Hammond.
I think Finn bowled the wrong length for the field he's got there, really. He's got the men up, he's still in the power play. He wanted something very straight with that short mid-wicket in.
Well, I'm pleased for Hammond. He's been out of sorts in the county championship, but gosh, in the white ball, he's doing extraordinarily well. He's on 34, 49 for 2. As Finn bowls to him again. Oops, that was a swish and a mish. Well, I think he was entitled to have a go at that.
This is the way that Hammond, if he scores runs, by and large, he will score them quickly. He got runs quickly in the quarter-final against Worcestershire last year. Ultimately, again, Gloucestershire lost. He got 51 at Kent. That was his highest score, again, scored quickly. But he is prone to get 8 or 10 or 12 and get out. But here, he's chancing his arm, and it's coming off.
Finn, long leg bowls, and that's going to be a 6. 6 it is. Well, I don't know what Hammond had for breakfast, but it must have worked. He's on 40.
Again, it was quite short.
Yeah, it was short. Yeah.
For Hammond to really flex his arms, and he's almost cut that over point, hasn't he?
Well, no, they've got him back now on that point boundary. They must have. Yes, their 3rd man is coming in. So they're protecting the leg side and the offside at the moment. Don't try that shot again, Miles Hammond, please. Whatever you do, there's an easy 1 or 2 just to cover boundary. Finn bowls to him. Nope, that's a good spot. Good runless drive.
That's the ball that Milan wants. That's the ball that Milan wants on a regular basis, to just try and cramp him up, force him to play it into that short mid-wicket area where Milan himself is waiting. But now on the offside, because you've got the man back.
Yeah.
He's got his runs out of the over. He doesn't need to play an aggressive gamble of a stroke from there.
No, he doesn't.
It's a single anywhere he wants to push it on the offside.
And on the leg side. Finn bowls to Hammond again. And that's a great shot. Again, he loves that shot just over long leg. He gets into position so quickly, and gets into the right shape and just helps it on its way. Well played, Miles Hammond.
Is that 44 off 21, Julian?
That is the end of the power play.
Yeah, 44 off 21 for Miles Hammond at the moment, and 59 for 2. Well, Middlesex were 47 for 1, to give you an idea, after the power play.
Yeah.
And Majib is switching ends.
59 for 2. Change the bowling.
Well,
Chapel end. Coming on number 88, Majib.
Rajid, well, he obviously didn't fancy the College Lawn end.
15 off Stephen Finn's first over.
Well, Bracey is playing well, I think. Bracey is very much a supporting role to Hammond at the moment. And he might well just start off the over getting a cheeky single.
Here is Majib, about 4 paces around the wicket. That's
Poor
short.
ball.
It's
Oh,
pulled
no!
straight to the fielder, and it's taken
Oh, dear.
mid-wicket. It's a
Well,
cheap
Bracey-
wicket given away by
yeah.
Bracey, I'm afraid. And
Anywhere else, that could have been runs. Anywhere
to lose
else.
their 3rd wicket
Naive.
straight to the fielder, and literally just set himself. All he had to do was to gauge whether he'd have to bend down to take the catch or not. But Majib picks up a cheap wicket, and Bracey goes for 7, and Gloucestershire are 59 for 3. Ryan Higgins comes out at number 5, and I'm sure that the PA announcer, like us, is just checking who the catcher is out there. Nick Gubbins is the fielder.
Straight down his throat, wasn't it?
Number 29, Ryan Higgins.
Straight down his throat. It was a short ball. It was a terrible delivery, actually, and I don't know what he was thinking about.
But Gloucestershire now have to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, they do.
themselves, because again, it's the wickets column that's the issue.
Yep. Well, they've got the big 3 coming in next, haven't they? Higgins, Taylor and Howell.
So Majib's going to go back over the wicket, and
He's probably laughing.
Milan is reorganising the field because he's got Scott now out at deep mid-wicket, and Helm has gone to deep backward square.
And
Long off is
mid-off
out,
comes in.
Long on is out and mid-off is up. So Majib over the wicket to the right-handed Higgins, who didn't read that at all, and it
No, he didn't.
spun right up in front of him. Majib couldn't reach it, and keeper Simpson couldn't reach it either.
He was in about 8 mines then, Higgins.
And Majib
It
having
dipped in front of him.
not really had much joy at the College Lawn end, at the Chapel end, just comes in the over about 4 paces, tosses that up, and Higgins plays a drive off the outside half of the bat, I suspect, down to Gubbins on the cover boundary, but he can take a comfortable single, no more than that. 60 for 3.
Well, Hammond has to be
7th
careful here.
over. Gloucestershire now, Miles Hammond, bit of responsibility from you against Majib, cuts that straight to the tumbling figure of Eskenazi. No run. I mean, Hammond's natural point of order is to attack. Here he is again, and that's a more composed stroke, and there's applause from the coach's desk away to our right, saying Hammond that was a better shot, played into the gap at mid-wicket. There's ground to be made for Gubbins, and they'll just pick up 161 for 3 in the 7th.
This game is becoming incredibly tight, I would say, towards the end.
Middlesex with 2 wins already, remember. It's tossed up by Majib, and
2 there.
by Higgins. He'll pick up a single, but Majib has got Middlesex another wicket in that over. So again, they're chipping away at this Gloucestershire top order, but Hammond is still there. He's been joined by Higgins, who've still got the aggression,
7.
if you like, of Taylor and Howell to come. And Stephen Finn, after 1 over for 15, he's not going to be seen again for a while.
No, he's not. Julian, what were Middlesex after 7 overs? Can you tell us? Right, and what will it be?
62 for 3.
Calling for Middlesex at the college
Right.
ball end. Coming on to goal, number 72, Nathan Souter.
Nathan Souter bowls conventional, doesn't he, stuff, really? Yeah. But he can be economical, but he can drop them short. And it's going to be Higgins is on 2 facing him. Long on and long off a right back. If you can take the pace off the ball, there are 2s up there. Well, that was a poor delivery. Made it into a full toss, actually.
The leg side, everybody's on the rope.
Yep.
Long on, mid wicket, deep backward square.
And cover point as well, I would imagine. That's a single. Scott comes into field from the cover point boundary.
And the logic of that, of course, is you're hitting against the spin on to go into the leg side, aren't you? The theory would be, if you're a right-hander, that's what you're doing now. Different centre field, of course, for Hammond, because he's playing
left-handed,
with the spin, and therefore...
So he could probably quite easily hit it towards us, in fact.
Yeah, so he's got Mujib out at deep backward square. Milan's moving Scott as well. So he's now on the boundary of what club players would call cow corner.
Mujib is now just down in front of us by the flagpole. Souter bowls. And Hammond cuts. Good bit of fielding. They're sent back. Wisely so. And that shows the if you have a good fielder out there, specialist point. Souter again comes in to bowl to Hammond. And oh, that's reverse. That's a clever shot. It's a very clever shot. Onto 49. Went into reverse mode.
Yeah, that was a calculated gamble, wasn't it? A premeditated gamble, perhaps, because his front foot was a long way down the pitch.
Yeah, it was.
It's 49 out of 67.
Well, I would say that Gloucestershire are favourites if they don't lose many more wickets. Now, Higgins is a more senior player than Hammond, and I think Higgins comes down a little word with Hammond about, okay, that was a good shot. The ball hasn't returned yet. Don't try that again.
Middlesex so they've got sort of an off spinner with variations, which is Mujib, and then an orthodox leg break.
Yeah.
I say orthodox. Nathan Souter.
The ball hasn't returned yet. Here comes another one.
Drinks being brought out by the Gloucestershire 12th man, Tom Price. Miles Hammond might well need one. How many balls has Price faced, Julian? Hammond, sorry. 25 balls for Miles Hammond, and he's hit 8 4s and 2 6s. So he's got a very
good.
High proportion.
Do you know what this song's called, Ian?
What?
Do you know what this song's called?
It's not in my repertoire.
Chelsea, I don't know what it's called myself, actually. I know what it sounds like. Right, okay, Souter bowls to Hammond again. Whether that ball's returned or not, we do not know. And he just defends and plays a single. That's his 50. Don't bowl another one. That's his 50. Well played, Miles Hammond. That is a
6 balls.
Very good 50.
8 4s and 2 6s.
Well, I would say to Miles Hammond, you're not finished yet. You've got to stay there. He's got to stay there.
And of course, one more for his highest score in the 51.
51. Yeah. Souter bowls again, and Higgins just deflects that down. It's fielded at point. Throw comes in. There was no chance of a single then. 68 for 3 at the end of the 8th over. Hammond on 50 and Higgins on 3.
It shows how much he's dominated the card, doesn't it? I mean, it's not as if he's had a vast amount more of the strike than anybody else.
8 4s and 2 6s.
Oh dear.
Thanks, Dan. Sorry, I just wanted to. I'll get back to redial. Cheers.
Yeah. Oh, 01386.
Number 21, Toby Roland-Jones.
Hang on. 01386. You got that?
Yeah.
It is 712 462.
Put the cans on. I suspect that's not dialing.
That's not.
Hang on.
No. And then on the radio there was one more ball, and then the next ball was the. So I knew it was all over before. Well, welcome back. Okay. Ready when you are. Okay, we apologise for that lack of transmission. I don't know how long we were off for. Don't know, but I can tell you the score is 68 for 3, and it's going to be bowled by
Toby
Ronan Jones. Here we go. Hammond 50.
9th over of the Gloucestershire innings. Comes in and bowls, and that's gone aerial as well, but that's got 6 over mid-wicket. That's a big blow from
Massive.
Miles Hammond, who at the moment, with anything in the slot, he is prepared to give the bat a full swing at it, and that's now taken him to his highest T20 score.
Indeed it has, and I tell you what, it's up to him, I think. He's obviously seen the ball like the proverbial. And is that his third 6, Julian? Third six.
Yeah.
Well played him.
So Roland Jones, Chappell behind him, comes in, play once more. That's a more orthodox stroke out to Scott at deep cover. He's on the fence, and they'll take one more. 75. And the psychology once you get beyond 100 is
Should be all right.
that you're bossing the game there.
You should be. They've already got more than well. We're on. We are on.
75 for 3, and Roland Jones turns at the end of his run once more. Straight approach, bowls to Higgins, who pulls a short ball. Scott again on the chase. He'll pick it up though as he goes to deep square from a position at mid-wicket. His throw is rather wild, but they've only taken one, and the score ticks up further. Gloucestershire chasing 149 to win.
Yeah, well, they're already over halfway. So I'm saying to Hammond, don't take too many risks.
For 3 is the score. Finn expensive in his first over. Rowan Jones already conceded a 6 in this one. Bowles comes involved at Hammond once more, and again that's in the air but safe short of Scott on the cover boundary.
That's what they need, isn't it, really?
Take one. I mean, one boundary and over's fine from here.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Higgins can just play the sort of junior partner for once.
I mean, from a Middlesex perspective, they need wickets.
They do.
Roland Jones to Higgins, and that's again in the air, straight to Scott. He spilled it. Oh, he should have taken that. He's taken one catch already. He came in, didn't appear to get himself quite in the right position to take it. It was just to his right. He wasn't coming at it straight on, and it spilled forward out of his grasp. Higgins survives, and it's 78 for 3.
Did he catch it? I missed it because the old laptop was in the way. Did he catch it with 2 hands and just let it go?
Yeah.
Oh well.
It basically spilled forward.
Oh well.
It was a catch that he would expect to take, and he's just shaking his head. Then how did I drop that?
Well, I'm sure he doesn't know the answer. Gloucestershire caught all theirs. Much more difficult ones than that. 78 for 3. Well, it's all right, isn't it? We're doing right now. Salto is continuing from the College Lawn end. They've still got no one at Cow Corner. They've got someone at mid-wicket, and that's driven just with the ubiquitous single. As the throw comes in from Finn.
I mean, so many of these Gloucestershire supporters would say, what a great way to win to end a festival where you've won 2 championship matches, to finish it with a T20 win as well.
We haven't won yet. We haven't won yet. Oh, don't go 6 too soon. Would be. Okay.
A great finish to the festival from the Gloucestershire.
Future tense, please. Thank you. As Hammond waits and just plays that quietly and runlessly. Well, that's good. I think Hammond's now quietened down a little bit, because that's all they need, isn't it? 5 or 6 and over, that will see them safely home.
Should be able to milk the score from here.
Well, that's a great shot from Hammond again. Inside out, that was. He used his feet deliciously, got to the pitch of the ball. His fielders are in on the offside, and it went over the fielder, who was some 30 yards in from the boundary rope, over his head, another 4.
Well, he's not dealing in singles very much, Miles Hammond.
No, he doesn't. I don't think he wants to, but I think he should be.
Too hot to run.
Yeah. That's a good little push for another single. And Scott gets the bird from the crowd in front of him, which he tries to ignore. I always think you should indulge in banter like that. I mean, it's no point just ignoring it. You should just turn and say something silly. As Higgins faces, he's on 6, 84 for 3. And hit on the pad, gone. Yeah, Higgins has gone. LBW for 6, 84 for 3. Southall just bowled a straight one. It looked from here, I mean, I'm at cover point. It looked as if he just turned his bat and he just pitched straight.
Well, the question was it the wrong one?
Could have been the wrong one, yeah. Could have been the wrong one.
Ball, but
yeah.
Certainly Billy Taylor had no doubt.
Well, I'm not worried now but we got Taylor and Howe. In fact, I might be Tom Smith coming in next. You never know.
Benny Howe.
No, Benny Howe coming in now.
But 84 for 4.
It's all right. Worry not, Ian. Worry not.
If you look at the Middlesex score at 10 overs, they were 81 for 4.
Right.
Gloucestershire are 84 for 4.
Oh, we're winning, aren't we?
And how close are we to 10 overs, Julian? We are 1 ball. So, having said that, Gloucestershire look to be in the box seat.
Yes.
Suddenly, we look at the comparatives, and there's nothing.
Well, we got bat all the way down. We'll be fine. No, worry not. I tell you what, we're going to win this with 2 overs to spare. As Bracey comes up and has a look and see what happens to him. As here's South to the bowl to Benny Howe. Benny Howe drives straight back, and it's fielded by the bowler to end of the. Oh, South shapes to throw the ball at Benny Howe. That's halfway through. 84 for 4.
Well, it's a bit closer than it might seem on the scoreboard. 84 for 4 halfway, 81 for 4 Middlesex at halfway, and it would all appear to be about Miles Hammond. If Hammond was to go, then the squeeze is definitely on the Gloucestershire batting.
Come on, indulge in a bit of Neil Diamond. Right.
5,000 crowd to engage in a touch of the Neil Diamonds at half distance.
Correct. Right.
Here is Roland Jones to continue to the left-handed Hammond, upon whom Gloucestershire's hopes significantly hinge. That's just dropped out on the offside.
They do. Well, I just think that Benny Howell and Ryan Higgins, who's out now, he's a senior player, should just tell Hammond, right, you've done really well, but just rein yourself in a little tiny bit.
Hammond, Howell played a really poor shot in the Leicestershire match in the Championship.
Oh, he did,
close to the end of the third day.
Full toss.
Pulled a full toss straight to mid-on.
Yeah, poor. Terrible shot.
I hope he's in better form today.
He's gone. Hammond has gone, caught behind. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, Hammond, I don't think he liked that. He turned away and the umpire's finger went up. Good low catch. Good low catch by Simpson. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. No, we'll be fine.
Hammond out for 63.
Good innings then.
63 out of 84. And with him gone, suddenly the card looks to have nothing.
It does, yeah, it does. It's down to these two.
Very glad that they picked the extra batsman in Graham Van Buren.
Correct, yeah. However, I would suggest that Jack Taylor and Benny Howell are the two, if you like, if they get their eye in, capable of finishing off pretty quickly. However, Jack Taylor hasn't been in the best form of the bat recently, so that's all gone horribly wrong, and that's just over.
Middlesex knew that was a big wicket.
It was a big wicket, yeah.
They celebrated it with some enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And Roland Jones to bowl to the right-handed Taylor. Taylor and Howell, neither of whom have faced the wall or indeed scored yet. Of course, Taylor off the mark immediately with a little nudge to deep square, and Scott, who's probably completely forgotten about that catch now because
But he hasn't.
Got Gloucestershire 5 down, and the Duckworth Lewis
is very equal, 83. Mind you, it'll go up at the end of the over, won't it?
is very, very tight now. Gloucestershire put the squeeze on in the second half of the Middlesex innings. Is it possible that the Middlesex side can do the same? Roland Jones in and dropped.
Dropped again.
Oh, that's a driven strike by Howell to the man at short extra.
Second drop.
Oh, that's Gubbins, I think.
Yeah. It was a difficult chance, but...
It is Gubbins, and he would expect to take that.
Well, he's certain that's what he's there for.
Howell survives.
Saved 4, as Julian says.
For a short game, a lot can happen in a T20 that can take it one way or another. 85 for 5. There's not going to be a coast at all for Gloucestershire from here. Howell off the mark with again a single. They look for 2. Steve Finn comes round. He's got ground to make up.
Well run.
From deep square, his throws on its way, but Howell is quickly back, and these two will scamper.
They will scamper, certainly. But Howell...
This is the 11th over.
No, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Taylor will come to the 4. Possibly.
Backward point, extra cover mid off on the off the offside, and 2 saving a single on the onside as well. Hooked by Howell on the bounce. Straight to Finn.
Yeah, did well, Finn, actually.
Long leg, and he'll take 1. It was a controlled stroke, and Finn took the ball about 15 yards.
Well, the score
He's
is...
left on the bounce. 88 for 5 off 11. The rate is about where it should be, but
Yeah, it's
we've
gone down a bit.
said, it's
6.79.
about the wickets column.
Yeah. I just think if South is carrying on, if any Middlesex bowler bowls a boundary ball, then, particularly if it's one of the first 2, then Gloucestershire will be on the ascendancy.
I'll give you the Middlesex bowling figures at the end of this over.
Souter bowls and Taylor defends. That's Howell, in fact.
Helms bowled 3 overs, 2 for 24. Mujib 3 overs, 1 for 22.
Howell is facing Souter, long on and long off, well back, and that's driven and fielded by Milan.
Finn's 1 over cost 15. Souter 2 overs, 1 for 12 before this one, and Rowan Jones 2 overs, 1 for 14.
Yeah, they've got to quieten a little bit down. I don't mind this too much from Howell. Souter wants a field change, but it is ignored. No, just mid-on moves a little bit further to his left, and that's cut. That's a single. Howell goes on to 4, 89 for 5. Now Taylor, he's got to rein himself in. Taylor loves these matches, doesn't he, Ian? He loves to bat, but in this situation, he's got to be disciplined. If it's a bad ball, hit it. If it's a good ball, defend, or just milk those singles.
50 off 8.
Yep.
You normally take that in a T20 game.
Should do. So Taylor waits and just plays it quietly. And there's no run to mid-wicket. Gabbins is the fielder there. Souter with the shadow behind him bowls, and that's down the leg side. I don't know if that was got a touch to that. They're going to go for 2. They should make it for 2 quite easily. Let's see what happens. Was it leg buys or was it buys? It was leg buys. Okay. We had an argument yesterday, Ian Randall.
An argument?
Pardon?
An argument?
Yes. Well, I had a discussion. I don't think leg buys should exist in cricket. I think they're silly. I mean, that was nothing. It was a good ball and he just hit his legs. Souter bowls again, and that's turned away again. This time they do go for a single. The throw comes in. It's okay. They'll make it. They'll make it easily. Taylor gets a single to end the over. 91 for 5. 92 for 5. Taylor on 2. Howell on 4.
This is just as tense as yesterday, isn't it?
It's a bit tense. It'll be all right. No problem. I'm over this now. It's not as tense at all. No, it'll be fine.
So the Gloucestershire card has a very lopsided look to it. Over there, chasing 149. Hammond out for 63. But before he departed the stage, Klinger for 10. Cobain without scoring. Bracey for 3 and Higgins for 6 had all been dismissed, and that, as is often the case, Gloucestershire are leaning on their middle order.
They are.
And Finn is back at
Well,
the
Finn hasn't bowled very well, has he, this time? I think.
Chapel End.
Once we get past 100, we'll be fine. 8 overs to get 50, isn't it? Yeah, something like that. As Finn comes in, you're over.
Finn to Jack Taylor. That's short, sort of into his hips, and he's just worked that on the onset. There's a comfortable one. Middlesex won't mind to giving Taylor a single, and Benny Howell now on strike. This is the 13th of the 20 overs. I should think it's the sort of afternoon where anybody selling liquid of any sort, or
Roaring trade.
dare I say, the ice cream outlets on the ground, will be a constant stream of custom. Here is Finn into Howell, just takes a single into that gap to George Scott, and for 3 or 4 overs that's probably okay for Gloucestershire if they can just squeeze an odd boundary out, not necessarily in every over. Then they're going to keep themselves
Well, if it gets to the last
in the game.
Well, Michael Klinger hates games going to the last over, but I think this one probably will be.
94 for 5, chasing 149. Finn to Taylor. It's going to be caught. No, he's not. Well, Gubbins couldn't reach that. It spooned up off Taylor's bat. It almost looks as if it should have been an easy caught and bowl for Finn. He didn't go for it. Gubbins came in to try and reach it.
He slipped. Yeah.
And it eluded him. He didn't even lay a finger on it.
No, he didn't. Unlucky.
And Taylor escapes.
Unlucky, Gubbins.
And he's
3 catches dropped. And as they say, catches win matches.
Well, that wasn't really a drop. He didn't really get there.
Well, no, he didn't really.
He is at short extra cover, and Souter is at short mid-wicket, but that's too straight from Finn, and Howell can't work that onto the onside, and Finn fields off his own bowling. When Hammond was out, whether the Middlesex bowlers had a brief chat about the length they're bowling on this pitch and what it ought to be and what it had previously been, and whether they think they can cause more trouble.
Bowling Fuller.
Just reining it back a bit. Finn's got long on out now once more. Howell stands forward and just squeezes that off his pads. And he get one though. Holm is in quickly from fine leg to field. And I just want to see if any of the Middlesex fielders are actually not wearing a hat, and the answer to that is no.
Well,
they're all in hats other than the
have
bowler.
to be, yeah. I'm going to change my mind. It is getting quite tense.
Finn, quite a long run. Straight approach, right arm over, and Taylor squeezing that back down the pitch. They want one, but Souter's there quickly, and there would not have been one there.
Never won.
It would have been a very risky single had they taken it, but Finn's had a much better second over than his first one went for 15. Only 4 off that one.
7 overs to get 52.
96 for 5.
7 overs to get 52, is that right?
53
to win.
to win.
Okay, well that's very similar to the Leicestershire match last week when they had 8 to get 48. However, there were no regulations in those days in the county championship, everyone around the boundary. So here they got 5, they have to have 4 inside. So I would suggest, if I was Mr. Howell, to play a shot down square leg. Let's see what he's going to do. 6 out of bowls. And he does that. He does exactly what I said. Thank you. Going to go back for 2. Well played. Oh, you could have got 2 then. You could have got 2 then, probably. No, you certainly could have got 2.
This is Souter's last over.
Yeah. I think they wanted to go for 2 then, but I don't know why they didn't. They should have done, really. Taylor eyes that mid-wicket. He loves cow corner, doesn't he? But he's also the long on and long off are involved as well. Cut by Taylor, and that's got to be. Oh, that's good. That's a good shot because the bowler, if they're going to go for 3, they must make it for 3. Come on, go for 3. It's gone for 3. That's good running. I'm afraid it was the two fielders, they just couldn't quite get their balance right.
And dare we say,
Yeah.
we found out one of Mujeeb's weaknesses.
Yes, Majid.
He's a little slow on the turn.
He was a little bit slow on the turn. I didn't want
to
to denigrate him, but you just have. Now, conversely, that's a good bit of fielding by Souter, who scrabbled to his right-hand side, because that would have been a single. Aborted. Souter bowls again. There's a 2 definitely to long on the long off if they can get it right. That's good shot, straight down the ground, and that's going to go for 5. I'm afraid, is it Mr. Finn down there who made a bit of a hash of that? Well, he looked through all the world. He went out my eye line, he looked for all the world like he'd got it, and then he just went past him. That's good stuff. Come on, Jal, you can do this. Mind you, I'm listening to Sunday. Sorry, people listening on BBC Radio London. You must be sort of more or less biased. Souter comes to bowl to Taylor. That's 104 for 5, and Souter bowls again. Whee! That's going to be another shot for 4. Well played, Joint Taylor. Well, that's Benny Howe. I beg his pardon. Benny Howe goes on to 15, and the score is 108 for 5. That was an expensive over. This is an expensive over, because it's now 41 needed for victory of 6, which is definitely manageable. That's Howe waits. Whoops, and that's an easy single to Mr. Scott, who throws it in, and that's a good expensive over from Gloucestershire's point of view. How many, Julian? 13. Good over. Good over.
Souter's figures 1 for 27, as you heard Rob Scanlon announce over the pier. 109 for 5, 40 to win.
Of 6 overs.
And there are 6 overs left.
Yeah.
Now it's about calm heads, isn't it?
Calm heads, indeed.
Themselves into a position where if these two stay in, Gloucestershire should win.
Yeah, they would.
Mujeeb to
his last over. Isn't
so.
I've got to say, he hasn't bowled particularly well, but
Helm will have 1, and Finn and Roland Jones will have 2 each.
Yeah. Well,
Mujeeb, right arm over, in, and Howell just takes 1.
So that's fine.
I think that's the Churchdown Club marquee on
the
side of the ground.
Cost 50p to go in there, be a member.
Club, the old Petesians, the new club, they're all over on that far side of the ground. Old Petesians, a famous old sports club in Cheltenham. Former pupils of the Richard Pate Grammar School. Here is Mujeeb in again, tossed up, but a single from Jack Taylor.
Was that you, former pupil of the Richard Pate Grammar School?
Sorry?
Were you there?
No, I was not, no.
Where were you at?
I wasn't bright enough. Here's Mujeeb once more, 111 for 5.
Where were you, Fen Street? Sorry.
We've got a long on and a long off both out. What does Howell do? He just tries to
good ball. Good ball.
A bit too close to him, just to force it out on the offside. And it's fielded by Eskenazi. Mujeeb rattles through his overs, it must be said. That's pitched up and it's spinning awkwardly towards the man at short third man, but
he did well, actually.
Scampered away quickly because Taylor was immediately looking for the run. As soon as Howell got away, he was looking for the run, and I know Helm was onto it quickly. They couldn't stop the single. 112 for 5. The target 149. Mujeeb in.
Good ball.
Yeah, Taylor got in the wrong place to play that shot, and then the ball just hit his body.
Oh, no panic.
And just dropped out on the leg side. So, wicketkeeper Simpson. So this is the last over of the mystery of Mujeeb, and played out on the offside again by Jack Taylor.
That's okay.
3 off it, and he's after a poor first over. Really, he's finished up with 1 for 20.
Wow.
1 for 25 off 4.
But
it's a bit more orthodox from here for Gloucestershire. So they've got 1 over from Helm, 2 from Finn, and 2 from Roland Jones. So it's pace to finish with for Middlesex, unless David Milan spring himself for a surprise over.
Well, he might do, of course. He might do. I just think 5 overs to get, what is it? Is it 40? 5 overs to get 40? Less than 40, isn't it?
37 would do.
Yeah, we can get him one over.
Middlesex were ahead at this stage.
They were
118 for 5. They were be 112 for 5.
Yeah,
for
but we got. I'm impressed with Howell and Taylor. They're batting very well together. Howell's on 18, and it's got to be Howell who's facing. Now he looks round.
Roland Jones to come back from the Chapel College lawn.
Yeah, a long run up. Now Finn has come into an orthodox mid-off position. Long on is deep, but some 10 feet in from the boundary. There's someone at cow corner, and Roland Jones bowls, and that's slapped by Howell. Again, Finn chases after it. I'm afraid the ball's going to win, old boy. Yes, it does. That was a good shot from Howell. He knew exactly what he was doing, and Finn is a bit of a passenger in the field because he's so tall. It's difficult for him to get down.
It's a calculated gamble on that side. If he doesn't think that Finn is the most mobile of fielders at mid-off, he says, right, I get that past Eskenazi, it's 4. It's not just a 6. Is he saving 1? He's actually saving 4 there in a way.
116 for 5. Roland Jones comes in and bowls. Whoa! Now that is going to go probably for 4. Oh, I don't know about that, actually. I don't know about that. I think the umpires might want to have a look at that because it looked like the fielder down there might have hit the rope, but in fact they're not going to bother.
My hunch was he slashed really hard, skewed it over the keeper. Majib wanted to stop it with his left hand, but that's his hand nearest the rope, so his body is blocking our view. To me, he stopped it clean.
Well, there was a crowd around there. No one complained. As Taylor takes a guard again. 119 for 5. Well, this is the sort of over that is actually pushing victory within Gloucestershire's grasp, he says famously, as Roland Jones comes into bowl to Taylor, who's at 8. And Taylor just slaps that down to the fielder just behind backwards square leg, who's on the boundary. That'll do. How many runs in this over so far, Julian? 8. Easy peasy. As I say, Michael Klinger hates games going to the last over because he says anything can happen.
Mentally, you try and finish it in the 19th.
You do, exactly.
And you've got the escape valve in the last.
But it can be carnage. It can be carnage in the last over. 120 for 5. 3 balls of this Roland Jones over to go as he bowls to Howell. And Howell slaps that back, gets a single. The fielder long on. Good throw comes in.
Howell now on to 26.
Yes, he's very important runs, old Benny Howell. He got criticism in the county championship with that when he slapped that full toss straight to D'Oliveira, from D'Oliveira straight to mid-on. But, he's made amends now.
BBC Radio Bristol, DAB, BBC Sport Online, and also with our friends from BBC London.
Who are listening. Yeah, the side has taken effect down there in that public bar as Roland Jones comes into bowl to Taylor, who's on 9, and goes back into his crease and somehow managed to get a single to that. I don't know how he went back into his crease and he aimed to play it over down towards the backward square leg, but he got a bit of a top edge onto it, but he gets a cheeky single to himself. 1 ball to come.
1 ball to come in the over.
121 for 5.
This is the 16th.
Well, there's 4 overs to get 25. It was a piece of cake. Should be.
If they get 25, they'll be 1 short. They'll be 2 short. 27 to be absolutely accurate.
Correct. Well, let's get this over. Roland Jones' last ball of his over comes into bowl, and that's fielded by old Scotty Boy on the card of a boundary, and that finishes the over. 123 for 5.
26 to win off 24 balls.
Easy. 26 off 24, this should do.
I agree.
You look cynical.
I look cynical.
You do look cynical. It's there. Easy.
Some might say that's normal.
No.
Finn is going to keep going at the chapel end.
Well, I think Finn... Well, Milan's only used 5 bowlers, hasn't he?
They have, yeah. And I think Milan bowled 1 over in one of the other matches,
Right.
but I think it was the first one, but they only used 5 bowlers when they beat Surrey, so, you know, it's clear.
We always beat Middlesex, you know that.
There's always the risk that one of the bowlers gets hit, and you should have somebody up the sleeve. Now, Milan himself, you know, could bowl, but probably not at this point, you would have thought. Well, Finn's got 2 left, and 1 each then from Helm and Roland Jones, but Benny Howell on 27 faces Finn, and he tries to play a hook, which is from a ball that's too quick for him really, and he doesn't get a touch. It goes through to keeper Simpson. 123 for 5. Where else would you rather be at 5 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon?
I think I'd rather be here. Lovely. We're nice in the shade. No sun on us. Watching a Gloucestershire victory
We
unfolding.
did have some rather large spots of rain just at the end of the Gloucestershire innings for about 30 seconds. Here is Finn once more to bowl to Howell on 27, and Howell cuts, but it goes into the ground and on the bounce.
Now steady
to
on, Benny
keeper
Howell. Don't
Simpson.
worry. Don't worry.
Howell's 27 have come from 24 balls, Julian? 24, 27 off 24.
No, I can see he's getting a little bit frisky out there. Just steady on, steady on.
Taylor at the other end has 9. Probably Tom Smith next, then Van Buren.
Maybe Van Buren ahead of Tom Smith.
Here is Finn again, and that's aerial from Howell towards the boundary at long off. There's no fielder there, 2 bounces for.
Hooray! Well, see, I said that to Benny Howell. Just wait for the bad ball.
Well, Finn has bowled some in the slot today, which have been dispatched, particularly by Hammond earlier on.
Yeah.
He hasn't got a man actually on the rope there. I mean, it probably wouldn't have been a catch because there's been ground to make up. But
I would have had someone back
picked
there.
the longest boundary, and he's got mid-off on the edge of the circle, and he's keeping mid-off, mid-on rather, on the edge of the circle.
Certainly is.
Finn once more to Howell. That's short. That's gone high in the end. That's gone behind the field. It's going to drop safe, I think. He's fortunate with that, and they'll get 2.
Fortune favours the brave.
3 fielders converging on it behind Square on the offside. The man from third man couldn't reach it. The man from deep cover couldn't reach it. The man at
It was like a barn dance, wasn't it, really?
It.
But the hokey cokey down there, but it was always, no one was ever going to catch
And Howell
that.
gets 2. 20 to win.
3 overs which to get them.
3 overs after this one. 2 balls left in the 17th. Howell waits for Finn once more. It's very short. Up in the air again. Now Scott's underneath this. He's dropped one earlier, but he's not going to drop that. That's a much easier one to judge.
Yeah.
And Howell goes for 33. And Gloucestershire still need 20 to win in the 17th over.
No problem. Benny Howell did a good job then, I think, for Gloucestershire. I know he's disappointed about getting out, but I just think he got the impetus back in Gloucestershire's favour.
Well, Scott with the catch off Finn. Howell goes for 33. 33 from 26. And Graham Van Buren comes out.
I think it's a good choice. I mean, Graham Van Buren is an established batsman, isn't he? And he can sort of bat anywhere in the order. And I just think that Tom Smith, although good in reserve, is a little bit set in his ways of being a bit defensive. I think this is a good move.
It's kind of I would refer to Tom Smith as the captain sensible.
Well, he calls himself the
order. So beyond
Eastbourne.
Smith,
Yeah. Well, David
Andrew
Payne.
Tye, you can hit a long
Tye
ball,
can, yeah.
And David Payne, who's not the worst number 11.
No, he's not. No, he's
on the
not.
circuit.
No, he's not.
He wouldn't normally bat there anyway.
No, I think
But in
Tye.
this team, that's where he probably will be. So the batsman crossed while the ball was in the air,
Right, no run.
and 129 for 6 with 3 overs to go.
Just 20
Taylor
to
is
win.
on the strike,
Just 20 to win, easy.
and 20 off.
Now Taylor needs to get a 1 here, I would suggest.
He's just checking the placement of the field. Scott stays out at deep mid wicket. Souter is in on the single, and Taylor will just push the 1. He finds the gap up
Good.
towards Toby Roland Jones at
Good cricket.
deep mid on, end of the over. So
Good cricket.
It's a wicket in his third over. He finishes with 1 for 26 at the end of 3. He's got an over left. Helm has got 1 left. And Roland Jones has got 1 left. They will bowl the last 3, and Helm's going to bowl the 18th.
Yeah, Helm, I think, has been the best bowler, I think, for Middlesex. What are his figures, Ian?
3 overs, 2 for 24 at the moment.
They've just got to milk it, haven't they? Is it 19 to win in 3 overs?
19 to win, yeah.
Yeah, piece of
19
cake.
off 18.
Yeah, I mean, it's always... if you're watching the game on television and you say 19 off 18, you think they're going to win it. Win it. Yeah. They should do. Well, Jack Taylor is in good form. He's taken the mantle from Benny Howell. He's on 10. He's been very quiet. Don't worry, everything's working. Everything's working. I keep on checking it.
Milan is taking his time over his field here because he knows he hasn't got many runs to play.
No, he hasn't.
With.
Well, that I can tell you, the worry for me is that field is just behind square, in front of the stand over there.
They put a third man back in.
And they've got a mid-wicket as well. If he can find the middle, well played. Helm comes in and bowls to Taylor. Oh, that's certainly a no ball. That's got to be a no ball, surely. Isn't it?
Well,
it was bowled very high.
It wasn't, to me, it wasn't high. It was a full toss. Taylor again may have got hit in a slightly painful
Yeah,
place.
well, he's on his haunches. I mean, well, it looked from here like it was a looping delivery. It probably just dipped in front of the stumps, which makes it legal. But Taylor's probably thinking I missed out on that, actually, because he could have turned into a full toss. Here comes Helm again. Is he going to try it again? Helm bowls, and Taylor gets himself a single. That's fine. 131 for 6.
149 the target.
Yeah, piece of cake.
2 overs and 4 balls to go.
Should get them easily. Now Van Buren's very good at nerdling. He's a good nerder, is Van Buren. He looks around, and he'll probably, I would play this one for the covers or down to that Matt Field, who's now exactly at square leg.
He is a good cutter and puller.
Yeah, and loves cutting. Very small man. Yeah, he's a good chap as well. Helm bowls to him, and that's the ball. That's the shot. He's got third man runs round. They think about second, but Taylor's sent back. You're quite right. He cut that very nicely indeed. So it is building up to a bit of a climax, isn't it, Julian? We're going to win it though. Have faith, we'll win it.
You know,
piece of cake.
It's easy from up here, and Milan's only got 9 fielders plus the keeper. But you wonder whether he might have 2 men behind square trying to save a single.
He could do for Van Buren actually.
On the offside, rather.
Yeah, well, Taylor's got it. I wonder if you can see that mid-wicket lurking in front of that Royal London advertising hall in there, because there's
Taylor,
one up.
Is he third man up?
Push long leg
and long
back.
leg back.
Yeah. Here comes long leg. Third man on the edge of the circle as Helm comes and bowls to Taylor. Taylor slaps that one. That's going to be 4, I think. Is it going to be 4? It is 4. Well played, Jackie Taylor. Well, it was sore. It was definitely there for the cut, and he played it in front of him. But that's a good shot. And the Gloucester crowd, I think they'll be dancing in the streets of Morton in Marsh tonight, Ian.
Sorry?
They'll be dancing in the streets of Morton in Marsh tonight. I think they will. Yeah, 136 for 6. Only, 13 to win in 2.2 overs. 13 and 14 balls as Taylor waits as Helm bowls to him. Oh, that's a lovely ramp shot from Taylor. That's very clever batting. That is Taylor at his best. He waited for it and just played it over the keeper. Brilliant shot.
See, that's the previous ball where Van Buren would have cut it much squarer.
Yeah.
Taylor got into position to play it in front. For that one, he let the ball come to him and said, right, it's quick enough, it's short enough, I can just lift it on its way.
Yeah.
And nothing Middlesex could do. It ran away down to the sight screen in front of the chapel.
Brilliant shot.
9 to win.
Great invention. Great invention. They can't lose it now. Helm comes to bowl to Taylor again, who's on 19. And drives and gets the single, which is good to end the over. And they need 141 for 6. Just need 8 in 2 overs. Well played, Jack Taylor.
Helm's finished. 2 for 35 for him. And Jack Taylor has 20. Dale Van Buren has 1. And Steve Finn to bowl the penultimate over. We come back to that point that just briefly discussed earlier. The mental concept of the batting side to try and win it in the 19th.
Well, that's what they want to do. They should be doing that. I mean,
Taylor has 10.
Yeah.
And Middlesex, who
Taylor's 20.
1-2, have now got only, well, in fact, we've only got 7 runs to play with.
Well, I think it's...
And therefore it's a much more orthodox field because you've got...
You have to, don't you?
Well, and just orthodox mid-on and mid-off. There's an extra cover, a backward point, I suppose you'd call it. There is a man at third man, there's a long leg. Singles anywhere on the onside. And Taylor doesn't want singles, he's clubbed that deep into the outfield. Nathan Souter's on the chase, he just can't reach it, and they'll come back for 2 from in front of the members' stand at long on. It's a big boundary, that's the biggest boundary on the ground, and Taylor hit that a long way in the air.
But they haven't got a fielder there, it's about the 3rd shot that's been played there.
But they're worried about the shot to, question mark, in quotes, cow corner.
Yeah.
That's the one they're worried about, which is a shorter boundary.
6 to win.
143 for
Now
6.
they put someone back there.
Yeah, but it's a bit late now.
Stable
Taylor knows
doors.
one big blow will do it. We're in the 19th.
Well, don't go for a big 6, Jack.
Souter's come in on the single. 22 to Taylor. 6 to win. You won't get it there. It's outside the off stump.
Far too quick.
And umpire Lloyd not interested in a wide.
No, it was a good ball. I mean, Finn is capable of bowling really quick, isn't he? But I've always seen, whenever he's been here, he always bowls too short, I think.
Well, so Gloucestershire, 4 wickets in hand, 6 runs to win.
Piece of cake. Finishing this over.
We're in the 19th over. The question is, will Roland Jones get to bowl the last one?
Probably not.
Maybe not. Finn to Taylor once more, and he gets that onto his pads. He tried again another big drive, got it inside half of the bat into his pads, and a dot ball in anybody who's keeping score around the ground. And certainly in the championship matches here, there were quite a few supporters who actually do a score.
Yeah, there were. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Nor could I.
Miles Hammond earlier in the day made 63.
Top man.
63, dominated the first 10 overs, and Taylor trying to win it now against Finn. He's clubbed that high in the air. That may again drop safe because Scott can't reach that, I don't think. Again, 3 fielders converging.
Yeah.
And Taylor's riding his luck, but he's getting Gloucestershire very close to the winning line.
That was uncanny, wasn't it? For the second time in occasion, it was just like a barn dance. 3 fielders going to converge on the middle. No one claimed responsibility, and in fact, there was never a chance to any of them.
8 balls to go, 4 runs required. Taylor's still on the strike.
Yes,
he got back for 2. He's on 24. And Finn from the chapel end to bowl to him. That's gone straight down the ground. Is that going to be caught by Souter? It is.
Oh dear.
Souter's taken the catch and Taylor goes for 24. He's almost done his job.
Yeah.
He's taken Gloucestershire to the cusp of victory.
Yeah, and don't know about
hopes
this.
that Ty and Van Buren can see him over the line from there if you're a Gloucestershire supporter.
Yeah.
But
I would think Ty's coming in
he's maintained the momentum.
Yeah, Ty comes in now. Well played.
And he'll get a good hand as he goes off. Caught by Souter off in for 24.
He will get a good hand, but he's probably disappointed he didn't quite finish it off. However, these two, now, they've got, is it 1 ball of the over to go, Julian? 1 ball of the over. 1 ball of the over to go. They need 4 to win. Is that right, Julian Clark?
4 to win.
4 to win. Oh dear.
You're going to have the commentary on the winning moment again.
No, it's coming. This is coming this way. Van Buren will cut it behind square 4.
batsman crossed while the ball was in the air.
Did, yeah,
so
he
Van
did.
Buren on strike to Finn's last delivery, which is hit in the air, and it could be caught, and it is.
You
So
buffoon.
Finn finishes with 2 in 2.
You buffoon.
Van Buren goes, I think that's Milan who's taking the catch, and it's 145
Oh dear.
for 8.
Well, the trouble is that Ty has crossed. It's Mudger Smith, the Eastbourne Wall.
The Eastbourne Wall.
That's what he calls himself.
Well,
Well, I'm afraid I don't mind Van Buren being out, but Ty has crossed, so he's not facing.
it's all yours.
Yeah, I'll see him.
Roland Jones to bowl the last over.
No
4 required,
problem at
2
all.
wickets in hand.
Well, Smith will just pick a 1, and then there'll be a 2, 4 to win. Might be a tie. Could be a tie. Don't mind that.
Tie to avoid the tie. Commentator's nightmare.
No, it is.
BBC Radio Bristol, DAB, BBC London, BBC Sport website.
It's very
It's come down to
exciting.
the last over.
Very
But then
exciting.
that's all that Cheltenham has been about this year.
Yeah, it has another last over finish. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. 145 for 8. Now, cool heads. Cool heads. The cut-off time has been passed, but that's because you can start the last over after that. There's a long committee meeting. Roland Jones will be bowling to Smith. Now, Smith is a very intelligent man, and I'm sure he'll push a single, probably either in just by the umpire who's fielding at point or square leg. Oh, it's tough. Roland Jones comes into bowl to Smith, and Smith gets 1. He may go for 2, go for 2, go for 2. Smith's running. Well played, Smudger. Intelligent shot.
Ty said, do you want 2 there, or do you want me to have the strike, basically? And Smith said, I'm fine with 2.
Fine. Right, well, they can't lose it from here, surely. They've got 5 balls to get 2 runs. So Ty was probably thought, well, I'm probably the most likely to get a big hit. It's very tense here. As Roland Jones comes to bowl to Smith. 2 needed to win, 5 balls to go. He bowls. That's 1. That's 2. It's a boundary, and Tom Smith has finished it off in grand style, and Gloucestershire won this one. Well, it was a bit close at the end, closer than I thought. I always knew he'd do it.
Tom Smith, calmest man on the ground.
Calmest man on the ground, yeah, absolutely great. And the crowd look are bouncing up and down. It's been a great victory for Gloucestershire, and well deserved, I think.
Well, they made a bit harder work with it than looked like at one point.
They did actually, but no, it was a great game of cricket. I just think that Middlesex didn't get enough runs. Simple as that, I think. Ultimately, I think that was the reason.
I wonder what would have been an awkward chase on that.
170 probably.
Yeah, 180. They might have felt they were Arsenal favourites, but
I mean, Klinger was out early on. They lost Cobain early, but I mean, it was a tremendous win. Anyway, well, that's it then from Radio Bristol.
It's going to give you the full card. Middlesex going off, and Tom Smith and Andrew Ty just shaking hands with our umpires, but the Gloucestershire chase of that 149 looked like this. They were set off at 7.5 and over was what they needed. Miles Hammond dominated the first 10 overs. He was caught by Simpson off Roland Jones for 63. Klinger caught by Simpson off Helm for 10, having played a glorious on drive before that. Ian Cobain caught by Scott off Helm on his 100th T20 appearance for a duck. He won't want to remember that, but he did take a good catch. James Bracey and was caught by. Line's gone.
The line has gone, Dan. Dan, line's gone.
Sorry, Dan, the line's gone, hasn't it?
Line's gone. Perhaps you turned it off. I'll go and do an interview.
Right.
If you can dial up.
You did?
No, I turned it off. No, it just the line went just at the end.
Okay, what do you want us to do?
I turned it off. Hang on, let's turn it off.
Okay. So what number do you normally dial?
01386.
Yeah. Do you?
Yes. That's the one I was told. Richard Hoskins, that's the one. That's the commentary one.
Yeah.
And that's the interview one.
Yeah, 3123. That's right. So that's what we're doing. That's the interview number.
Okay. Well, you send it. Are you sending yours?
Yeah, you send yours first.
Right. Okay. That's jolly good news then. Scroll them down.
Dan, I'm not expecting you to be there. I'm going to send him a text.
Here we go.
Hang on, I'm just going to send him a text.
Oh, that's in.
No, I know it's in, but I'm just going to send him a text.
What's that? What's this boy here?
Down of it. Just
Where's the bloody thing like that?
in on 3123. Sending Hammond.
Right. Headphones.
And
Headphones.
Milan for London. Hang on. Right. Okay.
Sorry.
I've just sent him a text.
Right. Okay.
So you file from whatever you